Yo, what's happening? What's going on? What's good, everybody? That's right. This is the Boxing Source Midweek Report. We checking in July 26, 2023. We're going to go through a few things here real quick on this Midweek Report live on YouTube. Want to add in my guest here to chop it up with me. Checking in is Lord Zoe in the building. What's happening, man?
Man, what's up? What's up? What's up, man?
Yo, all good, man. All good, man. Just chopping it up, man. Of course, we had what happened. Well, it was say yesterday, but over in Japan, it's probably the next day. It's Thursday already over there. Most likely. But I mean, we had that fight. Super Bantamweight Division Unified Championships, WBC, WBO. Stephen Fulton against Naoya Inoue. They came in there undefeated, and you know as I was saying in the preview, coming in as two fighters that were in the Boxing Source top 10 pound for pound. And of course, Inoue was the former undisputed champion at 118 there at, bantamweight, and also multi-division championships in light flyweight, super flyweight as well. So he had been doing his thing, coming up the ranks in the those lower weight classes. And Stephen Fulton, of course, had been, coming off of his victories against Daniel Armand and Brandon Figueroa, and also had that thing where he had defeated Angelo Leo, of course, to become the WBO super bantamweight champion, and unified against Brandon Figueroa to become a unified champ. But people said that he was like the number one guy there at 122. Of course, Inoue came up as the number one guy on 118, and that's what built up to this particular fight. And this was one of those fights that fight fans were definitely looking forward to. But we're just kind of turned out to the point where one fighter just was way too good and overwhelmed the opponent, and that was Naoya Inoue. He, from start to finish, dominated in that bout where, like, he was the faster guy, he was the smarter guy, he was, more accurate with his punches. He was, had better foot movement, all that type of stuff, over the course of the fight. And, Stephen Fulton really did not have any answers within the first 7 rounds, leading into the 8th round, where he ended up getting caught, with a what was a good right hand that put him down to the canvas basically, and he got up from it. But an onslaught from Naoya Inoue in the corner forced the referee to stop the bout. So it was an 8th round TKO victory for Naoya Inoue, for him to win those super bantamweight championships and take over as like the number one guy in the 100-pound division. So he stays undefeated now, 25-0 with 23 counts. What is it? Oh no, excuse me, 22 wins, and now by way of knockout, man. And uh, he just, like I said, man, he really took over from the first round when he started to land those jabs to the body repeatedly, on Stephen Fulton. And Stephen Fulton really didn't have much of an answer for that. And I just felt like, what, man, he went in there very tentative. And I think a number of people were disappointed on how he performed in this particular bout. But there really wasn't much that, that Stephen Fulton could do there. Because, like, after about round 4 or 5, he, tried to change things up as far as like his overall approach, tried to come forward, on Naoya Inoue, and that wasn't, that successful. We had a couple of times when he was able to land shots, but nothing to really phase Naoya Inoue. And, going into the fight, that was my main concern with Stephen Fulton, is if he didn't really have a punch that could really get Inoue's respect, he was going to have some real trouble in this bout. And that is exactly what we saw there, man. So that was it.
Yeah. Well, I told y'all in your last show, I told you that I don't think Fulton had the ability to outbox Inoue going backwards, or I'll box him in the front foot, or fight him in mid range. His only way to win was to be on the inside. That's what I said going in. He
Mhm.
came out in the opening round with a really wide stance, which
Yeah.
was which was kind of funny because the wide stance didn't help his linear movement. You feel me? Which is crazy. He came out on a wide stance, but it didn't help his linear movement at all against Inoue. And number two, from the outset, he could never get a hold of Inoue's jab, the variations of the jab and the level changes of the jab, the up jab, the straight jab, the hop jab. You feel me? He used so much different variation of the jab that it always kept him confused. And number three, he was completely blindsided by Inoue's speed. I didn't think he expected the speed to be that big of a difference. Like me going into the fight, I thought it was gonna be a close fight, a 7-5, 8-4 fight, but I was completely wrong. Anyway, it's better than we thought. Anyway, it's better than we thought. Like Fulton couldn't deal with the speed. He couldn't deal with the variations of the jab. He couldn't, and then Inoue also has this ability that like the old timers used to have, like Ezra Charles and James Toney, where they throw the punches to where they know you're gonna be, which shows you that his team really did their homework. They really did their homework. He consistently, because in the first 3 rounds, Fulton tried to use side to side movement and it didn't
Yep.
matter. It
Mhm.
didn't matter. He kept catching him, and then a lot of things is Fulton was too defensive. A lot of time his exit routes, he would exit in a way that put him in a way that he couldn't fire back. And every time he did that, Inoue jumped on him and got those little points in. You feel me? It was a complete masterclass performance by Inoue. It was a complete masterclass. And this take nothing away from Fulton. Fulton's gonna go to 126 and dominate. This take nothing. It just shows you Inoue is really a special talent. I was trying to tell people Fulton was not gonna win a boxing match. She needed to take this on the inside, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, he didn't. And you talk about the thing as far as like, with in a way with the mid range and with long distance that he was able to outpoint Stephen Fulton from the get go, and it was just like I said, he established that with the jab to the body, and you mentioned the variations of the jab, going downstairs, upstairs, mixing that up jab, in those second and third rounds, and also the timing, like throwing off Stephen Fulton, throwing, setting up feints with the jab and everything like that. But the other thing too with the foot movement is that with Stephen Fulton, it was not only with the wide stance, but the way that he moved like he was flat-footed. While you pretty much seen like, Inoue was pretty much on his toes the whole time. He was on his toes, moving on his toes. So, regardless of where Stephen Fulton was going to move to, with Inoue being on his toes, check it. Like Inoue can move, and by the time that Fulton moves, Inoue is already there. So, like what you said, like Fulton was trying to get away from Inoue, shoot. Even with Inoue throwing to the spot where Fulton was going to be at, shoot, he could be there with his feet as well. So it was like, everything that Fulton was doing specifically in those first 4 or 5 rounds, like Inoue was beating him to it, whether it was beating him to the punch or beating him to the spot. So, those first few rounds, it was like almost like a clear cut lead there for Naoya Inoue, and it was only until like the fifth round or so where you seen Fulton try to say quote unquote be the bigger man, so to speak, and try to come forward and try to jab come forward and then try to smother up Inoue, but that really didn't work too well either. So once he didn't have much of an answer, it was just more about when Inoue was just gonna end up taking over. And I know that Fulton after the fight kind of said it was more about the speed and the timing of the punches from Naoya Inoue, not specifically the power. That is still a huge factor when it comes to those type of punches because if you don't expect that punch coming through to hit you, that's going to affect you much more than like a big shot that you kind of like would expect to come from your opponent. And think about it is you really didn't see Fulton have much of an answer for that. It was almost like he was on slow motion in comparison to Naoya Inoue in that bout.
Yeah, and then On top of that, I did not like Fulton's over exaggerated reactions to every shot Inoue landed. It made it looked like he really was fearful of the power. Like I know he said it was the timing, but even when the punches didn't land, the way he over exaggerated the defense, like the way he'll shell up and move out the
Right.
way, it seemed to me that he was really fearful of the power. You feel me? So I hear, and I also hear him say something like it was him. He said the reason he lost was him. His timing was off. And I hope, a week from now they don't start using he got to Japan too late as a excuse. I'm hoping that's not something that pop up as a narrative.
Well, I mean, I hope not either. I mean, but for me, I thought he was, there, with good enough timing or whatnot to, make the adjustments, time adjustments, and atmosphere adjustments to, kind of like be used to what happens over there in Japan. I mean, the thing about it is, this is the fight that he wanted, one, and then two, he wanted to be over there in Japan. So he really didn't mind that, you know, that being the atmosphere for the fight, against Naoya Inoue. So, I just felt like he had to, do what it needed to do in order to properly prepare for that fight. But whatever it was leading into the bout, it just did not work at all. And it just showed that, it was almost like two levels of class in that. And that's,
Two levels.
And the thing about it is, like I was saying, leading into the bout, with Stephen Fulton being at the position that he was there in the pound for pound rankings at number 6. Like he was, the clear cut number 1 guy there in super bantamweight. He had beat, at least a couple of guys that were there within the top 3, or not necessarily the top 3, but the top 5 there in the super bantamweight division. And if he had faced and defeated MJ Akhmadaliev before, Akhmadaliev lost to Tapales, that would have been, 3 of the top 5 fighters. So he would have had, one of the better resumes out there, in boxing, because he had faced multiple top 5 guys and would have been able to win, and that's the thing about it. But, with Inoue, he just, clearly outclassed him. And, like you said, so like Fulton shouldn't have, tried to outbox him, because Inoue was going to outbox him, and that's exactly what happened. Salute to those alive, Chad Juice and Brian Essa there in the building. Yeah, just he says like it looked like he underestimated the moment and the fighter. And man, that's not like how. I hope he didn't underestimate the fighter, because I mean, you got somebody in Naoya Inoue that had been mentioned, by a good number of people to be at least among the top 5 pound for pound fighters in the sport.
He underestimated him. The reason I'll say that is because when you follow the people who's around him, when you follow the Greg Hackett, when you follow, all the folks from YSF Media and all these people from the gym, it was a consensus from these people that they said they was gonna stop Inoue in 8 rounds. Like, I don't know why they thought that, but a lot of them, that's what they was going. And I think that was the game plan. I think a lot of the game plan, they thought they was gonna stop this guy.
Well, the thing about it is like what would it have taken for Fulton to stop Inoue though? Because this is Stephen Fulton, that came in there 21-0, but he only had 8 stoppage victories. You know what I'm saying?
I think they thought Fulton was gonna impose his size and the body shots, and then I also think they figured Inoue was going to be a very easy target, and they was going to have the speed advantage, and it was going to be the accumulation effect. Like, it was a term of like, I can hit you. I think from listening to what a lot of those people from that gym were saying, it sounds like that's what they believe and that's what they thought. They completely misjudged and mistimed who Inoue was, and I don't know why. Like, especially as people who are world-class trainers and fighters, you're supposed to know who this guy was. Like, yeah, like even when I told you, when I said and he could not outbox Inoue, there's a lot of people who looked at me like I was crazy, but that's just because a lot of people didn't do their homework on Inoue.
Well, there's that, and then this is almost like one of those reactional type of things there. And some people also made this comment, is that coming off of this fight, that people felt like what Nonito Donaire did in their first fight against Inoue was better than what Stephen Fulton did. But my thing with Nonito Donaire was Nonito Donaire is a different fighter than Stephen Fulton is.
Yep.
But I'll say this though, with what Nonito Donaire did or how he fights, that likely is the way to fight Inoue, is to come at him and to have at least a punch, because that's the thing with Nonito Donaire. He had a punch that could really affect Inoue and was able to do that in the first fight. So that might be the thing there for other fighters to look at, is do they have the power to really get Inoue's respect there. Get you a comment in, and then I'm gonna add someone else to jump in on the reaction to the fight.
Yeah, I'm a little opposite of you, because I feel like the first Donaire fight, basically, I already had him on my pound for pound list. I already thought he was the truth. The first Donaire fight just solidified everything I needed to know, because if Donaire wanted to, he could fight at 130. That nigga, that's a big ass motherfucker who's a weight bully. And he has the left hook of the last 25 years. There's not a single person in boxing with a better left hook than Donaire in the last 25 years. And this nigga smoke. I know he got his audible broken, but my scorecard was 9-3, 117, 110, because he scored a knockdown. He smoked him. After I seen that, I was convinced. I'm like, okay, so you can't knock him out, because he just went up against D Puncher. You feel me? Like under 130, that's probably D Puncher under 130. I seen him take that guy's punch. Once I seen that, there was nothing somebody can tell me. He can box. He has the speed, and he has the power, and his IQ. He has the best jab in boxing. He has the best jab in boxing, man. You feel me? He got the best 1-2 in boxing. He's in the top 5 in footwork in boxing, man. People completely underestimate how special this guy is. The pound for pound conversation is beneath him. We need to start talking about his all-time great status.
Well, we'll get into that there a little bit, but adding in this next guest here, I think he caught what's going down on Tuesday.
The boxing academic
in the building. What's happening?
Things don't ready for me. You ready to say something differential, huh, Zoe?
I was waiting for you, especially. Man. I thought about you right after. As soon as
man,
when he landed that left hook, after he scored the right, that wobbled him, I thought about you. I'm like, I can't wait till I talk to boxing academic.
Hey, one can only dream, right? Not knowing much about Inoue before this fight. I will say, James can attest to this. After the first round, literally a minute and 30 seconds to the round, I text James and I said, Inoue is the goods and he can do pretty much everything. And so that was very evident in round one that at least how some people start off strong and his heart and true talent tells over time. But he started off strong, and the crazy thing is that he took Fulton's will away. And when I say he took his will away, he took it away in the sense to where Fulton wasn't even thinking about offense. He was so busy thinking about, I got to stay away from these punches. And even with the punches that are hitting my gloves, I can't get hit with this. So he had to be so defensively responsible that he was afraid to throw shots because he was afraid of what would come back from him. Now, take this with a grain of salt. I've only watched 2 of his fights, and this is the first fight that I watched intently. And I was judging the fight because I was hoping, the way everybody touted this fight, I was expecting, a more competitive match. But after round 5, I'm like, let me stop scoring this match because I don't like when I saw Fulton's mind had went. What else is there? Like the body follows with the mind. Now my only thing is that Terrence Crawford won his undisputed at 140 against Indongo. And so at the time, Indongo had beat 3 or 4 fighters to get him in that position to win 2 belts. Indongo was highly touted, and everybody, gave him his just dues at that particular time. But over time, we were able to see that Indongo was in the right division with the right opponents who were just not that good. I'm not saying that Inoue ain't that good, because Inoue is the goods. What I am saying is that what I saw from Cool Boy Fulton is that he was missing some things fundamentally that a boxer would need in order to handle a very tough test like Inoue. Obviously, he didn't have no power, and that didn't help him either. But there were a lot of things that either he was shell shocked early and his mind was super gone, and he just didn't go to the well, or he didn't know he didn't know what to do, and I'm leaning toward he didn't know what to do, because say for example, Inoue had a better jab and he got to the punch a lot quicker than Fulton. And so Fulton, to me, should have. It's easy for me to say sitting on the couch eating popcorn, but Fulton was getting picked off from the mid range and the outer range, so he should have got closer and got on his chest and fought in that Philly style. Not give Inoue a chance, or at least smother his punches and go to the body. Now, obviously, Inoue would have probably still landed shots on him, and he thought that the shots would probably get there a lot quicker. But he didn't even try that. He just literally stayed in that no man's land and kept getting hit. He tried to jab at Inoue's face, and Inoue would pick him off. And I don't recall him very many times changing his plan and jabbing to Inoue's shoulder. And so when I say jab to Inoue's shoulder, he's trying to jab to the center mass of Inoue, and Inoue would do the little, dip down and catch him before that. I'm saying he jabbed to Inoue's left shoulder and then get off the line so he missed the right hand, or make it difficult for Inoue to at least catch him clean. He didn't do that at any point. And it's just like, it's a few other things that he didn't do as well that you would, again, it's easy to say, him not being in the ring. You got to give him all the credit in the world for taking that test. It in a way, obviously, is not an easy out for anyone. But all I'm simply saying is, should we really crown Inoue for facing a fighter that probably isn't as good as we thought he was?
Nah, let me just stop this right here. Let me just stop this right here, because we're not doing that. Listen, 2000, you see, because there's certain people who just now got on the Inoue wave, but like I told you the other day, I've been on this since 2014. You feel me? At 20 years old, he beat Ryo Taguchi. You feel me? That might not be a big name to you. At the time, it wasn't a big fight, but later on, that's one of those fight wins that aged really well, because Ryo Taguchi went on to become a world champion. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like he had like 9, like maybe 10 title fights, 10 title fights or some shit.
I was about to read that all.
Yeah, like he won about title fight. So 2014, Adrian Hernandez. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, and the same year he beat Adrian Hernandez, who was ranked number 1 at 108. You feel me? That same year he goes up not 1 division, 2 division, and beat the other number 1 guy, Omar Navarez. That is when my man from Three Kings Boxing all told me this guy should be voted Fighter of the Year over Terrence Crawford. This is 2014, so this is not no Johnny come lately shit. This is shit niggas been saying, like, at least people that I fuck with, we've been saying since 2014. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Dog, he washes, he completely I'm not gonna say he completely washed away the 115 division, but he had like 5-6 title defenses, and then he goes up to the World Series of Boxing. A lot of your favorite fighters do not have the heart to go to the World Series of Boxing because of the competition you're gonna face. You're straight top 10 people. You feel me? A lot of the fighters you like is not gonna take that risk. He went in there and completely in his first fight destroyed Jamie McDonald, which is another fight which let me know Fulton's size was going to be a problem because McDonald's like a good 6 inch taller than him. You feel me? You know how long that fight lasted? 1 fucking round. You feel me? Knock this nigga out. You feel me? The WBA champion, 10-year undefeated streak. Follow that up by beating Emilio Rodriguez. If you ever watch Emmanuel Rodriguez, he's a very, very good operator, dog. Fucking washed him in 1 round. You feel me? Nonito Donaire. He could fight at 130 if he wants to. This nigga's a fucking weight bully. The best left hook of the last 25 years is not a nigga with a better left hook. Beat him 9-3. Then you have people who trying to make the fight look closer than it actually was. He went to see him again, 2-round knockout. Then he goes up to 122. And what we're not about to do, we're not about to play early morning quarterback and act like Fulton wasn't the fucking goods and say he wasn't that good. The 122 division was a very good division. Angela Leo out of the Mayweather gym is a very good boxer. You feel me? Daniel Roman before the 2-year layoff is a very good boxer. Don't let what happened for you. Daniel Roman is a very good fighter. Brendan Figueroa is a very good fight at 122. And you saw what he did to fucking Louis Neri. And Louis Neri was a fucking monster. And then Fulton beat him. So we're not going to act like Fulton is lesser than just because we don't want to put Inoue number 1. Inoue is the number 1 fighter in the world. This just stamped it. You feel me? Terrence Crawford is going to have to win 10-2 and get a fucking knockout to even be considered passing him. You feel me? Charlo would have to win every fucking round against Canelo and knock him out to even consider past what Inoue did. Inoue in 25 fights, fucking 70% of his fights are against top 10 opponents. The only nigga who can say that in history is fucking Muhammad Ali. So let's cut this shit out. There's no argument for him not being number 1. It's no real argument.
So can I respond?
Other than you don't like
him.
Can I respond real quick, JR?
That was basically what I was gonna talk about with Inoue as far as like what he's done. Like I said, like he said at 20 years old, beating Taguchi and Adrian Hernandez, and then going from light flyweight to super flyweight, beating Omar Navarez, and that's the thing. A lot of these guys, have been very decorated as far as like winning world title fights or being in world championship fights, things like that. And like in a way, it's not just that he's beating these guys. It's like he's barely lost rounds in any of his fights. So that's the thing that goes on top of what Inoue has basically done as far as like not only stopping folks, but he's like dominated on the way to stopping these guys.
Can I respond now? Can I respond?
Yeah, go ahead, academic.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm not taking away the fact that Inoue is the goods, and Inoue should be in the pound for pound conversation. I'm simply saying that if you look at Terrence Crawford and you think about Terrence Crawford's run up into the 147 division, it ain't very many rounds that Terrence Crawford has lost.
Yeah,
and let me finish. Come on, let me finish. And that is because Terrence Crawford was favored in all of those fights. He ain't fought a fighter that was really truly projected to beat him until right now. And so I would surmise that is probably the case with Inoue as well. I'm not taking away that he shouldn't be in the conversation, but I'm simply saying he ain't immune to this either if he's fighting fighters that he is projected to beat all the time. Until he fights somebody to where it's a 50-50 fucking coin flip, then I personally, I still need to go and watch his fights, but I will because I think I owe him that much respect to watch him, knowing how good he really is now. But it ain't no different with Terrence Crawford. Like,
who's your number 1? Who's your number 1 pound for pound?
Okay.
The winner of this Terrence Crawford Spence fight is number 1. Tyson
Who's your
Fury,
number one right now? Who's your number one right now at this moment?
Spence.
You think Spence has a better resume than Inoue?
Again, I haven't watched none but two of his fights, but I'm
Okay,
giving you anecdotes.
what when does Errol Spence has that's better than no, before I ask that, what fight was Spence not a favorite in? Because that's
He
your
was a favorite
argument
in all
against.
of them.
So why is he number one? That was your argument against the other guy. So why is he number one? And he's less decorated than both. And it's the same argument you said. He's favored in every fight, but like he's less decorated than both. So
That's
why
very true. Because I personally know the level. So the same argument that you made in that the opponents that Inoue fought and then what they eventually went to do and what they meant for the sport, they meant something for the sport. The level of opponents that Spence has fought and the way that he's beaten them, the different ways he's beaten people. Yeah, he may be a weight bully in one fight, this or that for another fight. But the way that he beat these people, where he faced a little adversity because it's a good fight, and then he comes on out up on top. The way his demeanor is, the way he controls the ring, the way you can tell about his killer attitude and his will to win, even when he faced adversity. That's stuff you can't teach. And I surmise in this Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight, Spence do this. I mean, not Spence. Terrence Crawford does this nice bravado thing where he stick out his chest when he fight fighters that he, has a super advantage against. I really am looking forward to see how he does, which he may even knock Spence out. I'm not taking away from that. But against a fighter like Spence, who wanted just as much as him and who has the ability to treat him the same way the same way Crawford gonna treat him, how he gonna respond with that bravado chest sticking out thing. And when he
Yo,
get in trouble, I'm looking forward to see like who he really is, because we ain't gonna find out who he is until now. We ain't gonna find out who anyway really is until he face a fighter that really can beat him or
Who
has
did you?
the
well,
Well,
here's the thing.
people
Here's
was
the
convinced
takeaway.
Fulton was gonna beat him.
Well, here's the takeaway with Inoue, right? Is that from as far as like that is concerned, after him having this win against Stephen Fulton, regardless of who's there at 122 pounds in the potential matchups that he has at 126, there are a number of people that would still favor Naoya Inoue over any of those guys that he could potentially face at 122 and 126. So as far as like a 50-50 type of matchup, like right now, we really don't see that out there for Naoya Inoue at this point. So there's that one aspect. But the other thing is, when it comes to like the things with resumes, right? With Inoue, right? He has guys that are on his, particular resume right now, right? That are, either current world champions or could be a world champion. Basically, Nonito Donaire is about to fight for a world championship.
Jason Maloney is the
Saturday.
current WBO champion.
And Jason Maloney is a current world champion. So you definitely do have that.
Jason Malone ain't no world beater. I seen him fight.
No, I mean Emmanuel Rodriguez is another, is a fighter that's about to fight for the bantamweight championship.
Oh, here's another guy. He doesn't have a belt, but he's very good. Pacquiao is very good.
So that's the same Emmanuel Rodriguez that pretty much like stopped Gary Antonio Russell.
Yeah.
Over at Barclays last year. So you have those like multiple fighters there that are still, successful. And the thing with Stephen Fulton is people still feel like Stephen Fulton is able to win a world championship, whether it's at 122 or 126. So when you have that and you're saying like, okay, Naoya Inoue, beat all of those guys. And we also mentioned the other fighters that he had already beaten, in the past that have, been fairly successful, even after, losing to Inoue. That's what makes Inoue's like run, stand out, especially in comparison to like a Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence Jr. The thing with Errol Spence Jr. is, yes, he's been at one particular division, but the level of opponents that he's went through, especially recently, and be able to win all of those. That's what makes him be there, like highly rated in the pound for pound list. So, him having this bout against Terrence Crawford, that kind of like makes a number of people feel like the winner of that should be number one. But for me, it's a couple of things. It's resume, it's overall skill level, and
performance.
like the performance too. Yeah. So and this was like mentioned by, what was it? I think Cliff Roll of what is it, like Ring Magazine or something like that. Like he pretty much mentioned that like Inoue is like a 5-tool fighter, and Zoe's kind of mentioned this as well. Speed, skill, footwork, defense, other intangibles that like make him one of those guys that is a complete fighter, and that's that is mentioned when it comes to pound for pound is this fighter like close to or pretty much around that level as a complete fighter when it comes to all of those attributes.
So I want to push back on one thing. Offensively, the dude is a monster. He every bit of that name he deserves offensively. Even like some stuff he did defensively, which was the result of his speed advantage and probably timing and mental ability. But if there was a fighter that, for example, maybe he was doing this because he was overconfident, and I mean he could do that in that fight because what's the name mind was gone. But if this is his tendency, where he walk in, where he 3 feet away from a guy, his hands are down, and then he throws punches from the hip, somebody can move around the ring, wait till Inoue come to him, bow, hit him like a Keith Thurman, like how Keith Thurman move around the ring, and then he try to walk people into shots. That's a problem to me. But Fulton didn't have the ability to take advantage of that, which is a fundamental flaw in Fulton. Good fighter, but it's still some fundamental things.
Boxing academic. Like my top 5, 2 of my top 5 favorite fighters of all time. One of them is Jersey Joe Walcott, and the other one is Ezra Charles. You feel me? They would purposely do things like that, walk up to you with their hands down. You feel me? The thing is that bothers me is when fighters from my race do that. We call it slick. We call it ring IQ. When Inoue does it, you guys are trying to build he's doing that on purpose to try to draw his opponent out. It's a strategy he's doing. And a lot of people watch his highlights and say, oh, he's out of position and get in the ring with them and get caught with it all day because they're falling for the genius IQ he has in there. You feel me?
Well, it's one for if he's going to set him up for a counter shot, but 2, he also does have the movement where he moves his head a lot too. So like he could have his hands down, but the thing about it is if you're coming in there like thinking that you're going to throw a jab, it's not like he's going to be there for that jab to land. He's going to move his head. So like he has those type of abilities to where he could leave his hands down, but it's to the point where he's setting up his opponent to where like they feel like they could be comfortable to throw a punch, but he's not necessarily going to be there when you throw that punch. Now, going back to the fight, that happened on Tuesday, you've seen on a couple of occasions, especially after the first few rounds with Fulton, where you've seen that there were open opportunities for him to throw, but he just didn't throw. And the reason was he was kind of, hesitant to, figure out what was coming back to him. So it was like, those first few rounds, Stephen Fulton was absolutely overwhelmed by what, Naoya Inoue was able to do, and given the level of, where Stephen Fulton was at. And, like I said, I mean, he kind of put himself at the top of the, the super bantamweight division. And Inoue just went in there and he just kind of like outclassed him, like big time.
He did. But anyone will look like a god when you fighting these earthly kings. It's only when you fight another god when you look human.
Nope. This, you know what
Yeah,
this
but
fight
but
was?
here's the thing though.
This
Here's the
fight was
thing.
Roy Jones versus James Toney. That's what the fuck it was. It was two gods, but one person was in Mount Olympus and one person was in a different interdimensional being. You feel that's what the fuck happened. They both were gods. It's just one god was way better. It was Roy Jones versus James Toney all over again. It doesn't take away when James Toney go back and dominates people all the way back to heavyweight, from middleweight to heavyweight. You start to forget that he got dominated by Roy Jones. It doesn't take anything away from him. You feel me? He's just that good. Pacquiao was that good. He looked normal against Floyd. It doesn't take away from him being that good. It just happens.
I
Yeah,
mean, that may be a good comparison. I mean, that may be a very good comparison. But what you learn from the Roy Jones fight is that as good as what's his name was, he was limited too.
Yo. No James Toney slander, bro. We're not
Man,
doing that.
James Toney, one of my favorite fighters, but James Toney was effective against certain styles, and against other styles, he was limited.
Man, listen, I think when you look at Roy Jones prime, there's only one person who consistently touched him in that fight, and that's James Toney. We're not about to, get on that. Roy Jones was just that special. You feel me? I never seen James Toney look like that in a fight.
Yeah.
And this guy went up against heavyweights that was like 7 feet taller than him. So we're not doing that. Roy Jones was just that good.
Going back on the thing there with Inoue Fulton, right? And what Boxing Academic was saying in reference to, I think it's like the comparison with Terrence Crawford, being at 140, right? I guess you're saying like, at that particular time, that 140-pound division probably wasn't as, I guess, diverse or deep or whatever it is, to the point where, Terrence Crawford could be there, and even after defeating, someone like Julius Ndongo or John Molina or Victor Postal, that he would have still been able to like fight there in 140 and continue to have some notable guys on that resume.
Yep.
But the thing is like now you would have to compare Inoue to this particular instance where, okay, who's there at 122, where it's like, okay, you have a Rais Salim, you have a MJ Aquindalev, Tapalis, who he's going to be facing later on.
Casamaro's there now.
Casemiro, John Real Casemiro. But I think Inoue was supposed to fight Casemiro, but there's something happened with all of that too. So actually, Casemiro might be one of those guys that that has like power behind his punch. That might be something, but I think it's Luis Neri pretty much in that junior featherweight division. But the thing about it is with Inoue, and this goes to what you were asking about Boxing Academic, is who is out there within 122 or 126 where you could match up Inoue against, and it would be like a 50-50 type of fight. Like if I name guys at 126 that either have titles or won world titles, I'll name them quick. Luis Alberto Lopez, Lee Wood, Ray Vargas, Mauricio Lara, Brandon Figueroa, Josh Warrington, Robert C. Ramirez.
Knockout.
Like, who out of those are you going to say?
You forgot somebody.
This is a 50-50 guy.
You forgot the biggest name of them all, bro.
At 126?
Leo Santa Cruz.
Man, I don't even know where Leo Santa Cruz is at this particular point. I don't know if he's 126 or 130.
Isn't he in line for that WBA? Lay Wood, wasn't there something happening last year?
Nah, like something happened with all that. So like, they ain't even
That's a fight. Inoue
that
versus Leo Santa Cruz, you probably could put that in pay-per-view.
Well, they probably would put that at pay-per-view, but the other one that they were saying for Inoue was Brandon Figueroa. But I'm like, I don't see it.
Yeah,
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. So Leo Santa Cruz with this activity, with his punches, like that would make for a little bit of a better fight. But Inoue versus Figueroa, I just don't see it, man.
What about 130? I don't think 130 is out the realm of possibility here, man.
I don't think it is out the realm of possibility either. But the thing about it is, and it has somebody on there that I felt like would have been a good matchup for Inoue at 126, but he moved up to 130 and won a belt. That's Navarrete, and he's going to be facing Oscar Valdez. So,
my brother, that's the two fights that's what in my mind, because this is what I'm thinking is happening. I'm thinking at the end of the year, for Inoue becomes undisputed, beat Topales, moves up to 126. Spence will use the WBO Super Champion clause, gets a title shot against Ramirez, washes him. Then goes up to 130 and fight Oscar. I think Oscar knocks out Navarrete and outboxes Oscar. And then right then and there, that's a very hard resume to look at and be like, yo, that nigga's not the class of the era. That's very hard to look at that and not say that then. I think
that would be the crazy thing though, right? Like you could come up with that hypothetical, especially if Valdez, beats Navarrete and say, okay, in like late 2024 or early 2025, if Valdez is still out there, if you had Valdez versus Inoue, like who would people favor? And from an overall skill level standpoint, they would probably still favor Naoya Inoue. You know what I'm saying?
And it's crazy if Naoya Inoue did that. What would be the next fight after that? What would be ESPN's cash out fight after that? That would be right. Inoue versus Lomachenko at for pay-per-view, nigga.
I don't think Lomachenko is going to be there at 2025 though. But
I think he is. After he gets beat up by Shakur, he's gonna go to 130 and try to conquer that. I feel like
Lomachenko should be at 130 right now after that loss to Devin Haney. But hey, we got Juice in the building. He says, I don't think that Inoue could beat Robeisy Ramirez.
That's cute.
Yo,
he can come forward and walk into that stab job all night, bro. Like, oh my goodness, bro. He'll beat the fuck out of Ramirez, man. I like that kid.
I mean, Ramirez is, he's good, but man.
Yeah, man, come on, like, be for real, man.
That would be wild. That would be wild. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, a number of people are, still talking about this thing with Inoue, man, and like I said, you had this whole thing with the pound for pound stuff, and we're talking about like what would be his limit as far as like how far he could go up. Some people say like this is almost like Mayweather Pacquiao type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with Pacquiao is Pacquiao came from wherever he was, like what was that, like it wasn't like 118, it was like 122, 126 something, and went up to like 154, and here like you're seeing somebody from 108 going up to like 122. It's like 14 pounds, but still, multiple divisions, so whatever it is to do what he does. And if he's able to make it, he could make it to 126, I'd say, no problem.
Easily.
He's there, like, he's there, what, 5'5"? Yeah, 5'5". Shoot, what, we got Gervonta Davis there at 5'5", right?
Yeah, facts.
But of course,
Isan Cruz like 5'4".
Tank is, had already been like bigger starting off. So, you know what I'm saying?
But I see a lot of the talking heads from PBC is pushing for this future Tank versus Inoue fight, man. I see a lot of people pushing this narrative out there.
Hey, listen. Yeah, you had who was our guy MVO saying, "Hey, man, bring us Tank versus Inoue." But I'm like, hey, it would be a far cry. But this was mentioned, in the Rise podcast just a few minutes ago, man. Like, Senior Cos is saying, like, listen, that would be a real huge. That would be a mega fight right there. That would
be a global fight.
That's a global, like, that would be stupid as far as like how much money that could potentially Garner, man. Like, I mean, so, but yeah, I know, man. It takes too big for anyway. But man, hey, folks out here dreaming right now, man, and they like, hey, when there's big money involved, anything is possible. You know
Look,
what I'm saying?
I done seen some amazing shit, man. I thought Bernard Hopkins was done, and I seen him go up to light heavyweight and beat up Antonio Tarver. You feel me? I seen Roy Jones go up to a division. Now, Ruiz sucked. John Ruiz sucked. I understand that, but still, he went up to heavyweight division to beat John Ruiz. You feel me?
Yeah.
There's another one I'm missing. There's another one I mean, shit like this happens, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it happens. I mean, we're gonna see another attempt at it here 2 months from now. You got, Jamel Charlo going up against Santos Alvarez Barragan, man. And if he's able to defeat Canelo, man.
Okay, back to what I was saying earlier before Academic joined. I think Bud would need to win every fucking round and knock out Spence to be in consideration for number one, vice versa for Bud.
For Spence.
I mean for Spence. Charlo would have to fucking win every single fucking round against Canelo and knock him out to get him out to get past Inoue and the pound for pound this nigga. You feel me? In other words, it's not fucking happening. Usyk would have to 12-0 shut out Tyson Fury for him to reclaim his spot. In other words, it's very difficult. I don't see somebody do it. You gotta take it. Somebody gonna have to do something crazy on Saturday to get
But see, Zoe, the problem I have with that is that every fight that you name to me is two elite guys facing each other. And
Fulton wasn't elite. He's a pound for pound guy, man.
Pound for pound is subjective.
We're not doing.
I'm talking about skills that pay the bills. Fulton is a good fighter, but Fulton ain't no.
Who in Spence resume is more skilled than Fulton?
Man,
Sit here and lie.
I'm not finna go through that. All I'm simply saying is that,
bro, sit here. I just want to show you what you're saying doesn't make sense. You feel me?
Because what I'm saying is Terrence Crawford is facing an A-level guy in Spence. Spence is facing an A-level guy in Terrence Crawford.
Fulton's an A-level guy, and then
Terrence Crawford. The two white guys, Fury and what's his name, are two A-level guys. Canelo, is he A? But
you gonna go to Sean Porter route?
But he's a proven guy. So I'm simply saying that Stephen Fulton is a good fighter, but Stephen Fulton ain't no. I dare say it, he's not an A-level fighter. He is a B-level fighter.
That's cool, but you gotta admit, you got people on the pound for pound list that got wins that are way more, that don't have no wins like Fulton in their resume. You got people in the resume, you got people in the pound for pound list higher than Inoue who doesn't even have a Donier win in their stuff, and that's crazy to me. Like, let's get there. What does Spence has a Donier win? Which one would that be?
Say what now?
The Spence has a win equal to Donier, and which one would that be?
Donier, who got beat by Rigondeaux. That Donier?
Rigondeaux, pound for pound guy. Yes, that Rigondeaux. Yeah, the pound for pound guy was in the
Rigondeaux, who got 12-0 by Lomachenko. That Rigondeaux, right?
Lomachenko, the guy who went up 2 weight classes to fight the number one guy in the planet at that time. Yes, that guy. You put the context, bro. Don't do this casual stuff when you put the context, bro.
All I'm simply saying is, what's his name? Probably will be a Hall of Famer in
Probably.
I can't predict the future, but I'm saying given the way he fight and how, like, even his run with him being older, he probably will be a Hall of Famer. But I'm simply saying,
if you can name me 15 fighters from the last 20 years that's better than Donier.
Oh my gosh, I'm not trying to do that. I'm simply speaking on what we talking about. All I'm saying is Donier is a good fighter, but again, as we see, there are other fighters who can beat him probably as a style matchup. He probably matches up well with certain guys. Like the last guy that he beat, That guy obviously couldn't hold a candle to him. But that's no indictment
Who you
on
talking about?
Donaire.
Oh,
The guy that he was hitting with every punch he threw and couldn't get out the way of his fist. But there are fighters who Donaire probably can't touch. I'm
like,
saying Donaire is good, but
I'm just
again,
saying, like even with the Rigondeaux stuff, even when he said Donaire lost to Rigondeaux, who did Spencer or Bud fight that was good as Rigondeaux?
all I'm saying is Rigondeaux was limited as well too. That's all I'm
You
saying.
fucking smoke, man. You smoking disco biscuits. I'm not even taking you seriously.
That's the
You
thing.
smoking
That's
disco
the thing
biscuits,
with Rigo, man. Like Rigo, it was. I mean, yeah, people put Rigo up there in the pound for pound list, but it was like, hey, it was he like a complete type of a fighter though? In a
Yes.
sense,
Yes.
No, he
The
wasn't
fo-
complete. Like against
what could he
fighters
do? What could he
that
do?
couldn't handle him, yes, he was complete. But when
What
we
could he
saw
do?
him step up against a fighter that was just as elite as him, what happened?
Listen, why did
He
he
couldn't
fight?
get them punches off
Why did he fight Loma? Why did he fight Loma? Why
because
did that
nobody
fight?
wouldn't fight him.
And then he had to move up 2 fucking weight classes to go do that against the #1 pound for pound guy in the world. Like, be fucking serious about the shit, the criticism you put in.
But in that fight, I saw that if you are a fighter who can control distance, who can use
If you're
speed.
an all-time great talent, he can't beat you, is what you're saying.
So
Is what you're saying,
Loma
right?
is an all-time great talent.
You don't think so?
Loma who lost like 5 fucking times, 4 times. Who got beat? What's the first fight he lost? What's that dude
Orlando
name?
Orlando Salido.
Did you watch that fight? Did you watch
Loma
that
who
fight?
got beat by Orlando Salido.
Did you watch that fight? Be honest. Did you watch that fight? Be
Of course,
honest.
I watched the fight.
How many times you think he got hit with a low blow in that fight?
Man, I don't know.
How many times he got?
It don't matter though. But Zoe, in that case, it don't matter though. You gotta adjust. If he's doing low blows, you know what you do? You hit him with a low blow.
And then not only that, what happened before that fight in the weigh-ins? What happened in the weigh-ins? How much? What was that? What was Salido? Was it Salido welterweight that night? He even tried to make weight. And that was his second fight. That's the shit I say. Like, people don't like to view. This is the shit I get. This is the shit because this is like the 4th time I've been in the show with you. You hype up Tank's resume and then say stuff about Loma, Rigondeaux, these people being limited, and then hype up the people with Tank fights.
Tank limited too.
That's crazy to me.
But Tank got exceptional power, which bails him out. Deontay Wilder's limited, but he has exceptional power, which bails him out. When he fought Tyson Fury, we saw exactly what he was limited in.
Inoue has exceptional power. I think this is what I really think it is. This is what I really think it is. This is the nitty gritty, and then this is a problem with boxing in all phases. It's not direct at particular one race. It's everybody. This is the shit that pisses me off about boxing. I don't like to talk about it sometimes. All of you niggas is racist. All of y'all. You feel me? You have the weird ass Doug Fisher and Ring Magazine that hate all black fighters, that hate all PBC out here. You have these weird racist niggas. Then you have the weird black Americans that just hate every fucking nigga that comes from East Europe. Every fucking foreigner, they just act like he sucks. You feel me? Because he's not black. You feel me? That shit's annoying. When are we gonna start judging fighters based off their skill set and their resume? And I say shit like they limited because you don't like them. You feel me? Like, we gotta be real.
Man, I don't dislike nobody. I'm speaking what I see. And everything I said, I can back, which I have backed.
Like, man, if you can say Spence is #1, and then the reason you don't have somebody else #1 completely contradicts why you have Spence #1, I'm looking at you like, okay, this has nothing to do with your actual criteria. You just like the nigga, like his fighting style.
So wait, hold up, Zoe. Right now, currently, before the new pound for pound rankings come out, I have currently Spence at #2. Okay.
Why?
Because not only
Because Zoe one of them niggas who hate other niggas. That's what I just heard.
I got Bud #3. I got Bud in my top 3.
Like I said, listen.
Who's #1? Who's #1?
Currently, #1 was Alexander Usyk.
So yeah, Spence above Bud.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Ask him why he got Spencer Bud. Oh, let me guess, he biased too, huh? He just can't see the intangibles that Spence possessed, and then his route in the ring.
Joe didn't give his reason. Joe didn't give his reason yet. I'm waiting for his reason.
Okay, here goes the thing there with Terrence Crawford, right? Of course, like I said, and I've explained this before.
5 letters in Dungo.
When it comes to resume, is Crawford up there in comparison to an Alexander Usyk, a Errol Spence Jr., or a Naoya Inoue, for example? 3 guys that I have above Terrence Crawford. No, that's not the case. Is he pretty much looked at as a 5-tool fighter? No, he's not. Okay, so the thing about it is, those are like the 2 major factors why I have Crawford currently at number 5, especially given the level of competition that he's had in those past few years. The only guy that was pretty much notable out of that list is Sean Porter, who Errol Spence has already fought and defeated. There was also Kell Brook in that welterweight run, who Errol Spence has already fought and defeated. So there's that. And then 3 is that, for me, from the guys that are above him, they have stronger attributes when it comes to the different tangibles that are out there, or the different what they say ratings are, than Terrence Crawford, at least currently right now. So that is why I currently have Terrence Crawford at number 5, especially when it comes to the resume part. Because when it comes to Alexander Usyk, Naoya Inoue, Errol Spence Jr., and at this current juncture, Jamal Charlo, I had those 4 guys above Terrence Crawford for that criteria.
So, damn. I mean, I'm gonna just say maybe you just think more highly of Harrison, Rosario, fucking Jackson, and I guess you just think more of these people than I do. You think more of them than I do. You feel me? For you to have resume wise, you feel me? Now,
okay, so here,
what's the commonality with all those people?
Here's the thing with that. Not even in Dongo, right? Okay.
Ngando, me.
Okay, wait. You said that. What was it with Ndongo? That he was what? Unified champion, right? When he faced Terrence Crawford. Okay. Now, with the thing with Jermell Charlo, right? He faced Jason Rosario, who was a unified champion that defeated and knocked out Julian Williams. So who would you put higher? Jason Rosario or Julius Ndongo?
I'm gonna be honest, because we can only judge by the context of that time. The nigga who went to 2 different countries to grab the straps, I would put over the guy who beat the mentally weak dude. You feel me? Who came off of a big surprise and win. I think I'll take Ngando in that case, bro. I'll take the guy who went to 2 different countries and grabbed the strap over the nigga who knocked out J-Rock.
Man, J-Rock, I believe.
Heading into the Hurd fight, what was your thought of J-Rock? And after the Hurd fight, was you one of the people who thought J-Rock finally changed the leaf, or you just thought Hurd finally, bad defense finally caught up to him? Which one did you think going after that fight? And that'll tell you how
I was more impressed with what J-Rock did in that particular fight, especially given with what Jarrett Hurd was at the time.
And then I'm gonna say this: I probably was in a minority of people who picked J-Rock to beat Hurd, because I have a belief that if a small 1-inch space rock landed on Earth, it would hit J-Hurd flush. You feel me? That's how bad his defense is. You feel me? I can throw a basketball in the air and it'll land and hit Hurd. You feel me? That's what I thought about it.
So here's the other thing with J-Rock, right?
Yeah.
Like, up until that point, J-Rock had already, had a what was that, like a world title fight. It was like a loss, but it was like a world title fight there against Maul. So he had faced Maul, he had faced Gallimore, before that Jarrett Hurd fight. So he was able to go in there and win that unified title against Jarrett Hurd in Fairfax, and then just turn around and lost to Jason Rosario. So.
And before he got knocked out, he was doing very well against Maul.
Right, he was. Same thing with Rosario, but he just ended up getting, Getting tagged in.
Like me, I always been big on J-Rock's skill set, but his lack of focus in the ring. You feel me? He has a lot of defensive laps in the ring, and his chin. It's like he's the type of dude. If he loses a fight to a puncher, I don't automatically elevate that puncher to a high level because there's huge chinks that you can take care of. I didn't look at Rosario when Rosario won that when Rosario beat
J-Rock.
I looked at it the same way as when Kambosos beat fucking
Lopez.
Teofimo. I'm like, that nigga's food. You feel me? Whoever his next fight, that nigga's food. These are free titles, though. That's how I looked at Rosario.
Can I ask you a question,
so this is what I'm going to do. I'll note this. I'll note this down because I'll put this on the Boxing Source Twitter page tomorrow morning. I'm going to say, okay, who is the who do you rate higher as a unified champion at the time that they won the belts? I'm gonna put in Julian Williams after beating Jared Hurd, or Julius Ndongo after beating Rick Burns or whatnot. Oh, I got another person coming in to join the conversation here.
Can I ask Zoe a question?
Yo,
Zoe. So you saying that J-Rock is limited? That what you saying?
What did I say that?
I'm summarizing what you said. Is that the spirit of what you're saying? Because limited don't mean that they're a bum. It just means that they have limits in some aspect of their game.
So that's every fucking fight that ever existed.
Exactly. Thank you.
So that's your criticism to not put pound for pound that they existed?
Man, I'm just telling you that them boys is limited, and the right fighter, as you just said with J-Rock, if you have the right fighter in front of J-Rock, somebody who can throw uppercuts, somebody who can get in on him and stuff, they gonna make him, as you said, food, and that's what we've seen.
What's up, brother Terrell?
Hey, Wagwan, everything good?
Yeah, everything good.
Wagwan boy.
Just trying to catch up and see what's going on in this midweek report. Our latest midweek report, Eastern Standard Time we've had ever, but who gives a shit? It's boxing. It's boxing, and one of the greatest weeks of boxing we've had in a long time. So let's chop it up. Let me jump in.
Yeah, man. We chopping it up reference to like resumes and stuff like that. But since you just joining in, what you think about the Inoue win over Stephen Fulton?
I mean, in a few words, the next Manny Pacquiao. That's what I think right there. I mean, matter of fact, I was just on the IG looking at Cool Boy Steph's post, very humble posts, things like that. The one thing that he kind of highlighted is the fact that his home city of Philadelphia didn't really recognize him so much until after he got his first loss and things like that. So that's kind of unique on that point. He's been the first champion from Philadelphia in quite some time. Prior to Hopkins and stuff like that. I'm
J-Rock, remember?
We just mentioned J-Rock.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that, but that I'm just quoting his posts and things like that. So, but I mean, but just to focus on Inoue, I mean, he's the bomb. He's the bomb. Is he number one pound per pound? Maybe. If there could be a 1A, 1B, 1C, you can not hit. I guess my pound per pound probably be Inoue in no particular order. Crawford, Spence. Wow. Who else would be in that top 5? Tank.
Wow.
It's kind of hard to say Tank because Henry got all his belts. So I don't know. But that's why we have a pound per pound list, so we can argue, debate, and give some topic for content, stuff like that. So, but anyway, phenomenal. And like I said, for me, the next Manny Pacquiao, and really quick, just what is his ceiling? I have no idea. 122, 126. I don't know. We'll see.
Question for Terrell.
Yeah.
So you say he reminds you of the next Manny Pacquiao?
Oh, definitely. Look what he's done.
Oh, that's part A of the question. Are you insinuating that he's taking that Manny Pacquiao? Is that what you're insinuating, Terrell?
No.
No,
No, what do you mean by next Pacquiao? What reminds you of Pacquiao? Do you mean like fighting style?
Well, not fight style, but it's the ability to
The legacy of Manny.
well, just to start from the lower ranks and then to come up, continue to come up in weight and be dominant as he comes up in weight.
Because I don't think Manny Pacquiao ever did what. And like I never did Manny Pacquiao go up in division and be like, okay, Thanos mode, all this shit is mine, or did he go up there and fight one guy, leave if it wasn't advantageous, leave, go to another division, fight another guy. If it's nothing advantageous or big money, he leaves, go fight another guy. I mean, he went up to 135. He ain't fight the best nigga there. You feel me? He fought the weaker Diaz. You feel me? He fought the weaker Diaz and then left. You feel me? Like Inoue is already trying to set up to Palace next. You feel me? That's like that. They make 2 undisputed champions. So you're going up there. You're planting your flag there, and you're planting the soil. You're going to work. We having title defenses. You're doing work. You're not just going there making a brief stop, say hello, pick somebody that you match up well against, and leave and say, I won a title in this division. You feel me? He's doing this different, man. Like, this shit is crazy.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know the thing in reference to the point of like how Manny Pacquiao went from like lower weight division and then be able to win titles in multiple divisions up until 154 pounds. But to Zoe's point, is like, okay, yeah, he won titles at these different divisions, but was he like either the number one guy or did he defeat the number one guy in the division to get those belts? With Inoue, it's like he's not only unifying, he's becoming undisputed or saying, okay, I'll be the number one or number two guy in each of these divisions. And like when he came up from like light flyweight, super flyweight, bantamweight, and now super bantamweight, like you could say that he has basically either become the number one guy or beaten the number one guy in each of those divisions. With Pacquiao, it's like he never even unified any division that he won a title. He never unified. So that's one thing that kind of like stands out with Manny Pacquiao's overall resume. Yes, of course, he's a surefire Hall of Famer, but that's one of the things that when people kind of like go over the history of these fighters and they look at the resumes there, especially with Manny Pacquiao, it's like, okay, yeah, he beat a lot of these guys. It's pretty much the names, but he didn't unify in any of those divisions. But it's more of like he's recognized for the names that he beat, like the Margaritos, the Miguel Cottos, the Ricky Hattons, the Juan Manuel Marquez's, the Barreras or whatever it is. But as far as like overall titles or like saying, okay, he's been number one in those divisions, he hasn't necessarily done that to the level of what Inoue is doing right now.
That's why I got him number 3 behind Floyd and Bernard Hopkins are the best of that era. You feel me? That's exactly why.
Yeah. So
what you just like these small dudes so much? Like what? Pause. But I'm just saying, what up, man?
I just said I got Pacquiao behind Floyd and
Bernard Pacquiao.
Hopkins.
I thought you were saying what's his name?
No, I said I got Pacquiao behind Floyd and Bernard as the best of their generation. You feel me?
Gotcha. My apologies. Apologies.
Yeah, like from like 2000 to 2020 or something like that.
Yeah, from that 98 to 2000.
Yeah, 98 to 96 to 20. Yeah.
I want to put a lot of people put Pacquiao number 2, but man, I gotta put him number 3 because B-Hop, fucking he sketched his fucking name at 175, and then you beat at 160, and then you beat the number one guy at 175. You feel me?
Yeah.
And then even though you ain't beat him at 160, you beat the other number one guy at 168, even though it was at a catch weight in Kevin Pavlik. You still did that. You feel me? And then I don't give a fuck what nobody said. You beat Joe Kawasaki. You feel me? The number one super middleweight. You feel me? I don't give a fuck what nobody said. I'm a Kawasaki fan, but B-Hop won that fight. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. You feel me? So like he's number one. He's the number one dude. You feel me? He's the number 2 dude behind Floyd, and Pacquiao's number 3 because Pacquiao didn't do exactly what we said there. I can't think of a division where I could say that, that was the man. Like with no dispute or that never happened. You feel me?
Right.
So that's why I never put him, above B-Hop.
Right.
Yeah, and even just to add on that real quick, I think a lot of people probably would disagree, and the reason why I would say that, because of the money that Pacquiao generated, and just probably had a more worldwide fame. So that insists factors for people that can't delve into the particulars like you just did. So I definitely agree with what you said.
Yeah,
Right.
like,
And I think the thing is something where, it's the point of Pacquiao not having that type of that fight where they say, okay, he's like a clear cut number one on there, and that type of thing. So, that's the thing that kind of like stands out with him in comparison to like those other two guys that you said, Zoe, and also with the thing with Naoya Inoue, you know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I that's my thing though. I feel like Inoue right now is like, as Zoe was talking about, like he's a generational talent. It's just where he's at, like being in Japan, it kind of like is a factor about him, being viewed as like a fighter that should be like viewed as a generational talent. If someone in America was doing what he's doing,
yeah.
It
would have been a whole the conversations I'm having right now. If Inoue was America, the conversation I had right now would have started after he won the World Series of boxing. If he was American.
Well, like in comparison, like like with Alexander Usyk, like how Usyk was able to go through the World Series of boxing and become the number one guy there at cruiserweight. And then from him going from cruiserweight to heavyweight and being able to become unified champion at heavyweight, that's currently why I have him at number one pound for pound. But,
like the reason I don't have Usyk number one over Inoue is because I'm extremely impressed with what Usyk did at cruiserweight. That's why I had him in my top three since what was it, 2016, whatever year that was. You feel me? I had him in my top three since then because how he dominated the World Series of boxing and unified the cruiserweight division. But the reason I came from number one is the heavyweight division sucked, bro. Like I don't give a fuck if you beat Anthony Joshua. I don't give a fuck. Like them niggas suck. Like them niggas say, like if he went and beat Wilder 12-0, like what I'm supposed to say, whoop-de-doo, it's fucking Wilder, nigga. I'm not give a fuck. Them niggas suck. You feel me? It's the heavyweight division.
Who on your pound for pound list? Name 1 through 5.
1 through 5, I have it written down, so let me pull it up. I got it in my notepads.
Oh, come on, though.
Yeah, because you can't make mistakes.
Well, real quick. So Mike, what determines someone that goes on the pound for pound? Just the wins, their skills,
who
they beat.
Me as eye test, resume, and accolades. You feel me?
Yeah, because I don't know why a lot of times people don't like to put heavyweights in the pound for pound list. Like,
niggas suck.
Well, for me, it's definitely skills, how they beat people, and of course who they beat people and when they beat people. So
like the reason I like skills too. Like skills is a big thing. Like if it was skills, I would have had Shakur in my top 3. You feel me? But his resume doesn't have the names yet for me to throw him up there. You feel me?
Exactly.
But he has other skills in the world. You feel me? But when I look at a guy like Bud skills are through the charts for me based off the eye test. He's through the charts to me. You feel me? He's probably him and Inoue the best in the world to me. Like in terms of the eye test, his resume is probably like 2, 3, 4 guys in the pound for pound list that I'll say has a better resume for him. But so if you combine the resume, with his skill set and his accolades are there, that's a pound for pound guy for me. That's a top 3. That's a top 3 guy for me. But okay, here's my list. You ready, academic?
Yes, sir.
All right, number 1. And then this list I made, the date was June 12th. So this is before Inoue versus Fulton. You feel me? Number 1, Inoue. Number 2, Terrence Crawford. Number 3, Usyk. Number 4, Errol Spence. Number 5, Crackhead Fury. Number 6, Jermell Charlo. Number 7, Teofimo. Number 8, Devin. Number 9, Dimitri Bivol. Number 10, Alvarez. Number 11, Estrada. 12, Fulton. 13, Beterbiev. 14, Shakur. 15, Tank.
I think you sent me this list.
Question: Why you got a Beterbiev so low?
Better Be So Low?
Yeah.
Okay, with Better Be So Low, the only thing he has to me is the accolades. He has the accolades. You feel me? He has the 3 titles. In terms of the skill set, you feel me?
Eye test. Like you said it before, eye test. He blows everybody out of the water. Everybody. Ain't nobody getting. Everybody getting the smoke. Everybody getting it.
Yeah, I see him. I see a guy. I don't. There's some performances in there that I went in it. I thought he was gonna blow the guys out, but it was entirely too competitive until the punch came to me. For me, he's a guy. Every time I see him, my stock on him goes even lower. You feel me? He's a guy like 5 years ago, before he won a title, I was one of his biggest dudes. I was one of the dudes saying Andre Ward is retiring to. I was one of those dudes. The more I see him, the less impressed I get. The more I'm like, oh my god, dog, this guy is fucking.
So.
Well, it's just last fight since Yardy was great. I mean, it's a fight.
Yeah, I think y'all.
Yardy ain't no bum. He ain't no bum.
So the more he faces fighters who actually throw punches back at him, the more information you get on him. That's what you just said.
No, the more I see him, the more trashy. Like, because there's guy like Joe Smith is not a good fighter. I don't give a fuck if he won a title. That's not a good fighter. That's a C-class fighter. That's one of those dudes. If you get promoted correctly, you could luck your way into a title. He's one of those niggas. That nigga fucking sucks. You feel me? You're not gonna sit here and then try to hype like, yo, look what he did against you. I'm like, yo, Vetroviev, like when it comes to eye test, bro, Joe Smith does nothing. There's nothing. And even for the fight, even for him to land, even for him to land a couple punches he landed in that round before he got knocked out is embarrassing. That's not a good nigga. You feel me? And then the Marcus Brown fight, people forget. People remember the blood and him getting stopped. That fight was entirely. Come on, at that point, Marcus Brown to me at that point was done. You feel me? He didn't got touched up enough time for me to be like, okay, this is not gonna be a fight. And then it was. You feel me? Like the more time I see Beterbiev, the less I get impressed. And if he fight Bevo, I think Bevo beat the radiators off that guy 12-0.
Nah.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Bevo beat the radiators.
I
Bevo beat the radiators off that guy.
I don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't see it.
Nope.
And I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm pitching. I think in my last 15 prediction, I'm like 15-0, nigga. I'm going perfect right now, nigga. I haven't been missing, man. Like,
Nah, but hey, if you ain't missing, then you should be hitting them books, buddy.
As hell, Bevo didn't come in the light until after he beat Canelo, like the way he beat him. That's when Bevo came in light, and Bevo's always been a solid fighter, but until prior to Canelo, he's a good champion. But put him in against Beterbiev, nah, you gonna get roughed up.
Man, I knew he was gonna beat this shit out of Canelo. I told everybody he was gonna outbox the shit out of Canelo. Niggas looked at me, thought I was just being a Canelo hater. I just told you, just watch the film. Like what happened was Bevo had 2 horrible performances leading to the Canelo fight. So niggas forgot who Bevo was. You feel that shit happens. You have fighters like Teofimo has that issue. You feel me? Where niggas fight to the level of their competition. You feel me? And sometimes that fools people into thinking he's not that good. You feel me? When Bevo, but I seen Bevo before. I never mind those last 2 fights he had before Canelo. That was very ugly and could have went either way. I knew that wasn't the real him. The real him was gonna watch Canelo, and he did. You feel me? I wasn't surprised. The only thing I was surprised that No, I wasn't surprised. You feel me? Even the scorecards is what I thought it would be. You feel me? The referees will try to find, the judge will try to find a way to make it look close. You feel me? Like, that's what I thought. Like, Bevo has too much footwork. And then he has too much footwork for fucking Bevo. And then a lot of people underestimate, like, a lot of people overestimate Bevo's quote unquote durability, and that shit will shock people in this fight against Bevo, dog. It will shock people when you see how many times when he start getting hit with 4 pieces, how he start wheelchairing after 5-6 rounds. That's gonna shock a lot of motherfuckers, dog. Well, not me, but it's gonna shock a lot of motherfuckers.
Well, the thing on Beterbiev is like he has his fight against Callum Smith coming up, and Callum Smith.
That's not walking the park.
You got to give Callum Smith a little bit of credit for coming up into 175 after getting exposed by Canelo at 168, and having some solid performances at 175. Yeah, he's not a bum.
Yeah, he's not. No, but he's gonna get stopped.
Like the Bevo, like I'm not gonna lie, man. I got Bevo on the list strictly because of those belts, man. Just out of respect for those belts, I have to put him in my top 15. And Tank, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't put Tank on my top 15 to be petty. He really don't belong there. I was just being funny. He really don't belong there. I go for somebody else.
Because who's your number 7? Who's your number 7?
Number 7 was Teofimo.
Get him out of there. Get him out of there.
Here's why you can't say that. Who else on the pound for pound list you can think of has a win versus 2 active lineal champions in 2 different weight class? I'll wait.
Well, I think you said at the time you made that list, he hadn't beat Josh Roberts yet, right? Josh Taylor.
Yeah, he did. That shit happened.
Well, I mean, I put him in the.
Both guys he beat was pound for pound guys.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so, but I would definitely want to get it.
But he did also lost to Cambosis, though.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
And how he lost.
That's cool. He lost it. How he lost? He lost a very close fight when he should have been hospitalized. Yeah, you feel me? I think that's kind of impressive, Loki. You feel me? But 19-1, he beat what was it? Three active champions. 3 active champions. That's there's a lot of guys that that might be on the list. That hold up, that's the same amount of active champions that fucking Tank that Spence beat. He beat the same amount of active champions as Spence, but he beat 2 lineal champions to Spence 0. You feel me? Like that's some shit that gotta be put. His resume is low key. People just don't like this nigga because of off the wall shit he says, and people that Cambosis shit fucked him up. Nah, nigga, shit happens.
So no, but my thing is with him. So he pretty much gets on the list for 2 wins, basically.
I said 3 worlds. He got 3. He beat 3 world champions, man. That's the mean.
So Richard Comey. So you count that?
He beat 3 world champions, baby. But the heavy one is the 2 lineal champions. It's the 2 because Loma's a Hall of Famer, and when he beat Loma was in the top 3 pound for pound when he beat Loma. You feel me? That's not something people's gonna look and just like we're gonna act like that didn't exist. You feel me? And then Josh Taylor laid waste to the 140 division. You feel me, though? Like he laid waste to the film, and I challenge somebody to go rewatch that David Catterall fight. You feel me? For people who say Catterall won after Catterall got hit.
Yeah, no, he got cooked. No. Come on, man. Taylor got cooked in that fight. He got cooked.
After Catterall got hit with that body shot round 9. That fight was over. That was it. You feel me? That was it. You feel me? He lost every fucking round, and then won 3 rounds prior to that. You feel me?
Man, he got cooked.
But listen, he laid waste to the division, and Teofimo made it look easy. You feel me? Against that's 2 niggas. That's 2 people. He also beat. He also can make the argument that he beat Loma more decisively than Devin Haney did.
That's subjective on that one.
Yeah, he's in the top 10.
Yo, we got another person that jumping in here from Philly. YSM Sports Media in the building.
YSM, what's up, man? My favorite sports media out there. What's up?
My guy Zoe, you smoking on that pack tonight, bro?
Nah, man.
By the time somebody else realized that Zoe was smoking, I knew Zoe was smoking something.
I love Fulton, man.
Zoe's my man. Zoe's my man. So you smoking on the pack tonight, bro?
No, I love Fulton. I'll never smoke on the Fulton pack, nigga. I never smoke on the. You feel me? I'm just hoping he gets the ancestors right. You feel me?
Oh no, I'm talking about. I ain't talking about Fulton pack. I'm talking about actual smoking, like cause the Tio shit.
Oh, yeah. I'm in rare form right now.
The comparison to Tio to Spence, right? I think dudes get caught up in verbiage, lineal, right? Yeah. There's no lineal champion at 147 pounds, simply because the 147-pound division was stagnant, and it's a bunch of situations that caused it to be that. Keith Thurman, him catching the injury and his inactivity, Earl Spence and his inactivity, and then we got promotional issues, as opposed to the 135-pound division Essentially, Teofimo Lopez, he was a prospect at the time. Vasil Lomachenko did all the work. He comes in, he beats Richard Comey. Richard Comey was never a great fighter. So he was like, oh, he beat a world champion. That's like beating Rolly Romero. And then like, oh yeah, I'll be the world champion. Yeah, you did, but all world champions aren't created equal.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
He beats Vasil Lomachenko, which was a great win, right? And then goes ahead and he gets cooked by Kambosos. Like you said, it was close. It wasn't as close as what you're making it out to be.
Who's limited?
Then comes back and looks average against Pedro Campa. Arguably loses to Sandro Martin, and then puts on a great performance against Josh Taylor. See, you're looking at all his wins, but none of his bad performances. You have to balance those out when you're looking at a pound for pound list. You just want to talk about, oh yeah, 3 world champions and the lineal champs. Yeah, but there's about 3.
Yeah, I don't got him in the top 5.
Or stinky ass performances. No, to me, he's not in my pound for pound list. He's just not.
Shit.
Because he limited.
No, it's not even just that though. Everybody want to talk shit, like talking about Kambosos is this, Kambosos is that. Shakur saying, oh, Kambosos ain't on my level, but he beat Tio. So, but what does that say about Tio if everybody's convinced that Kambosos ain't that? What does that say? Like, Cool Boy lost to arguably the best fighter right now.
Ain't no arguably.
No. It's still arguably. There's like, bro, Alexander.
On your last live, you said the winner.
I said he's pound for pound. I said pound for pound number 1. Pound for pound number 1 does not mean the best fighter.
Okay, my fault. Okay, I got you.
So, like, when I'm looking at the best fighter, right? Terrence Crawford could actually supplant him. I actually thought about this, right? So, if Earl Spence wins, Naoya Inoue still my pound for pound number 1. If Terrence Crawford wins, Terrence Crawford stops Earl Spence. He's my pound for pound number 1 simply because he's a 2 Division 4 belt undisputed champion. That's never been done. You got to give it that to him. But I can't say Inoue's better than Usyk. I can't say that. Usyk's done some incredible shit
against proven people.
Usyk's outweighed 30 to 40, 50 pounds in these fights. He's done some incredible. I can't just say Inoue's better than him. That's why I don't use the best fighter in the world. I don't use that.
Oh no, I think I said this earlier. I think I don't think my pound for pound guy is Inoue. The best fighter in the world to me is from Newark, New Jersey. But that's a conversation for a different. The second dude is from your gym, but you feel me? That's the 2 top niggas to me, but they're not pound for pound. So I do know what you mean by the difference between the kind.
Hey, you from Newark, bro?
Nah, I'm from Asbury Park.
Okay, let me ask you a question, bro.
Yeah,
you're a Shakur fan. How do you think he looks right now? And I'm asking honestly.
Like you mean from the media standpoint?
Just from the public eye as a fan. How do you think?
I don't think the public fucks with him, but I don't think that's anything new. You feel me?
I really think Shakur mismanaged and misplayed, and his management, his PR misplayed these situations because when you present yourself as the boogeyman and then gets offered a contract and then you turn it down because of money that doesn't coincide with being the boogeyman, that's a business move. But you are making it seem like other people are ducking you because they're scared not of business moves, and that causes backlash. I feel like they're telling them to do these moves for publicity, but not understanding the blowback that could come with some of these moves.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think a lot of his things he said, like even getting in the ring and saying, I think Lomo won, blah, blah, blah. I think that was clearly a company move.
Yeah, but you did the same shit to George Kambosos, so now you look like the guy that's just running around just saying dudes is getting, is robberies. You showing up to people fights and saying, "Oh, you won by robbery."
Yeah, like you're doing that for two, pretty much like 2 consecutive fights on the top ranked bill, and that doesn't really look good. And then like the whole thing with the 25%. Like I said, if you the boogeyman or something like that, they call a bluff. Say, all right, bet, I'll take it.
Yeah, and Zoe, JR made a good point. You the 25%, right? I would have took 25% to fight Devin. I don't think that was a bad move business wise, but PR wise, dudes like Camboso, that have taken this short for opportunity can talk that shit to you now. Dad, talk that shit to
Who
you.
was the person
Talk that shit.
in the last several years that
Hold on, what was that question?
Who's that, Mike?
That's Terrell.
Oh,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah, who's the person within the last 4 or 5 years that took the short money for the opportunity to got the win, and from that point move forward? Who's that?
It's a bunch of dudes.
Hey,
Devin
YSM.
Devin Haney and George Cambosos is
Yeah, that's two recent examples.
YSM, did you read that George Cambosos fucking lawsuit shit he had with Peter Khan?
Yeah.
So that Devin Haney shit was kind of overstated then, wasn't it?
What the money that George Cambosos got?
Yeah, that taking the short end of the stick of the person. I'm not saying he didn't take the short end of the stick, but it was extremely overstated with how they made it seem. Like he took the shoot set.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was guaranteed money. You know what I'm saying? You got to be like really, really careful with like reading those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Was that guaranteed money? I know they do Australia pay-per-view.
Yeah, because
So
I think they said I think they said he got like 3.5 mil, and then he got some. They said he got like 100,000 for the gate, and then he got like 500,000 for the fucking pay-per-view. They had it all there. It was like all
that don't even sound like that. Don't sound right. Go ahead, Jay.
No, but that's the thing though. Like, well, I don't know if G5 Jeff is still on here, but he kind of like went in on what happened there with Haney and Cambosos. So like with what Haney was getting paid, he was getting paid like more than what was kind of like mentioned in those documents that Peter Khan was talking about in reference to that fight. So yeah, that was kind of like that's kind of like sketchy when you talk about that one.
Yeah, this is a good point. Like, Zoe, just because something isn't, just because, okay, they say a fighter's getting X, that doesn't mean he's getting X. There's multiple loopholes and ways, and I can't, if I'm not in that room, I can't really tell you, or had somebody in that room tell me. When I mean PBC fighters are like on paper, oh, you got 2 million. They find like 6 or 7 different ways to give you money, bro.
Yeah, because I think I was talking with 210, and 210 Sports told me that, like, I think he disclosed to me that Santa Cruz walked out the Tank fight with 12 mil. That's not what was reported, but he walked away with like 12 million.
210, you talking about Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon. Yeah. They said, like, even though I think they said it was reported that like Santa Cruz got like 5 mil, that's what it was reported. They said he walked away with like 12.
Bro, they find different ways. So I can't go by, it says in this paperwork that such and such got this.
Yeah. Like even with that thing you talk about with that Tank and Leo, like shoot, even recent with Tank and Ryan, what did Ryan mention talk about?
30 mil?
He got
30 mil?
Yeah. Saying like
was
right
that reported?
15. So
exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah, but look, man, like to me, I really think based off, because I've been, like I said, I know I'm a broken record. I've been following it anyway since my peoples put me onto him in 2014 with the Adrian Hernandez fight. So I don't want to come up like I'm not no Johnny come lately, and I just heard somebody say it, and I just put he's been creeping up on my list, and just based off the fact that those fights are not the closest fight he had in my scorecard was 9-3 with Donaire. That's the closest fight he had to me. You feel me? He's washing everybody out. He's blowing people out. He's beating people that after he beats them that go on to become world champions. When I see that shit, and then what he did to Fulton, I rate Fulton very high. You feel me? If Fulton was a bum, I wouldn't be saying this shit. But because I have Fulton in my top 15 pound for pound list, you feel me? And the only reason he's in my top 15 is because boxing is fucking crowded right now. There's so many good fighters right now. It's fucking crowded. You feel me? That's why I made a top 15. But Fulton is a very great fighter. For the fact that he did that to Fulton, Bud's gonna have to fucking win every fucking round against Spence to me and knock him out for me to like change my opinion, because that's how
I'm
much I think of Fulton.
gonna ask you, but I'm gonna ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
And you gotta remember, I'm a Philly dude. So,
Yeah.
do you think Stephen Fulton's better than Earl Spence?
No, that's why I said
Okay.
Spence. That's why I say he would have to dominate.
I was about to say, don't go so far to say he great now. That's a bit
Yeah.
Now, I don't
So
think he's better. I don't
on the
think he's
far
better
end.
than Spence.
all right. So what I'm saying is a win. I wouldn't put Cool Boy higher than Earl Spence in accolades or as a fighter on pound for pound. Why I think Stephen Fulton is a really, really good fighter. And I thought he should have been on the list. But the fact of if Terrence Crawford goes out and he beats Earl Spence, right? Now you put him in, he's the first 2 Division 4 belt world champion. I want you to think about that for a second.
Yeah.
You give props to Josh Taylor for being undisputed. You give props to Inoue for being undisputed.
And Bud.
But he would have done that twice.
Yeah,
and then
Bud,
the second one would be against a fighter that is considered the best at the class.
So he actually earned it for the second one.
I mean, you earn all of them.
Yeah.
He did, but I'm saying he did it against Ndungo. That's all I'm saying.
So the second one is like, damn, like he would have made history. I would have to give him the nod.
Like I said,
now,
it's
if
hard to
Inoue
win.
goes ahead and starts Marlon Tapales, then I think we got a conversation.
I think it's gotta be how to win is achieved. You feel me?
Okay,
the same thing with Charlo. The same thing with Charlo.
Paul Butler. What do you rate that win? Paul Butler. I said Paul Butler. Like, how do you rate that win?
Fucking bum. But listen, I'm on record for saying Paul Butler is the worst champion in history because how he got the title was through some bitch beta male shit by petition for it and asking not to fight Casemiro for the title. He's a bitch. I do not rate that. I don't give a fuck about that win. You feel me?
But win is a part of Inoue's history. Like, I got a belt from a dude. Like, I got undisputed from a dude. XY, like the things that you just said. That's how I got my belt.
Got elevated.
Okay?
Oh, so he fought a dude that wasn't that good. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
But the people prior to Butler were better than Butler, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Pacquiao's Rodriguez. You feel me? No dear.
They're not. But they're not. Okay, Donaire is the only fighter on that list. Is great. Nonito is 40 years old. So like when we take apart, this is what we're not going to do. We take apart Terrence Crawford's resume. We take apart Earl Spence's resume. Now that Inoue's the flavor of the week, now all of a sudden we're gonna boost, his wins. No, we have to be honest.
But like I said,
why is him? Why is him? Can I ask why is him a question?
Good.
Can you go through Inoue's resume? Because let Zoe tell it. All these small guys, which I don't know. I will say this is my second fight. But could you go through Inoue's resume and tell me where he actually stacks in terms of the guys that he beat to be where he at?
Do you know what Zoe doesn't want to touch on?
What's that?
Why Inoue never faced Roman Gonzalez?
We talked about that. Me and JR talked about last
I'm saying that that's a strike. That's a strike, though. That's the equivalent of Earl Spence going through a weight class and never facing Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. You feel me?
You mean that's like how the reason I'm willing to overlook this shit is because my second favorite fighter of all time is Floyd Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit that didn't happen at 140. That's not gonna take away from everything else he did. There's a lot of shit that he didn't happen at 140 that was supposed to happen, bro.
Name the great fighters.
Zoo
wasn't because of him.
Zuka is a fight I could. No, I'm not. Wait, you blame it? I don't blame Inoue for the Roman Gonzalez and Estrada shit's not happening. I don't blame him for that shit. I just say that's politics that happened. Just like with this shit. Just like Fritas was with Showtime. Flo was with HBO. That's probably one of the reasons why that fight didn't happen. The same thing reason Flo didn't get a chance to fight. What's the Cuban dude? Casamayor. You feel me?
So in your opinion, right?
Yeah. Flo
In your opinion, Eddie Hearn was the reason why Inoue didn't face Juan Estrada and Roman Gonzalez?
I think there's a lot of politics that play with it. You feel me? I think a lot of politics play with it. I don't think having.
I'm not even saying that Inoue couldn't beat him. I'm not saying he's scared or anything like that. It just seems like you're trying to place the blame on one side when we know Eddie Hearn.
I didn't blame Roman Gonzalez on nobody.
Real fast. We know Eddie Hearn is willing. Eddie Hearn is willing to cross the street and make fights.
I don't think the politics of people wanting to go to Japan, especially with big names like that, I don't think that shit was something that was really in the cards for real though. Like that's just my personal opinion. Just like I don't think, like for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't think Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence was really in the card because there's other shits involved. I don't think nobody was ducking each other. Shit just happens. I hope the Roman Gonzalez. I hope Jesse Rodriguez has better luck. You feel me? When he goes back to 150, I hope he has better luck.
I do recognize the business of it, but when you tell his story, right?
Yeah.
What was that? That's 115, right?
Yeah, that was 115.
115 is kind of like shallow when you talk about a 4-division world champion. Can you name who he beat at 115?
I know the best dude he beat was Omar Narvaez, who also who was a 2-division champ, who went up to 118 and fought.
Where did you rank Omar Narvaez in the division at that time?
Number 1.
You had him number 1.
Yeah, I had him number 1, just like every other publication did at that time. I had him number 1.
No comment.
Who you had number 1 at that time?
No, have a comment because I don't know the relevance of these guys without you telling it.
At that time that they fought, that was what? That was
2014.
Yeah, 2014.
2014.
Because remember, Gonzalez was coming. Gonzalez wasn't yet, pound for pound. Oh shit, is this guy? That shit didn't happen. It was coming. It wasn't there yet.
Wait. That was at 115.
Yeah.
How long did he campaign at 115?
3 years, maybe 3 years. Well, the worst years of boxing was what? 2017.
Hey, Jay, put that up. Can you put that up?
Well, with who? Which one?
2017. I
said, can you put up his resume? You know I'm about to go to work on something.
Oh, the thing with Inoue. All right,
hold up. Boxer. Pull it up, please.
All right, hold up. About to get this joint in here right quick. Let's see. Tab. Inoue. All right, so you're seeing it. You're seeing it right there.
You got to zoom in a little bit, though.
All right,
I can't see shit.
I don't think you can. Can you zoom in, Jack?
Is it getting large on this side?
Yeah. Just do a little bit more.
All right, so here we're gonna get this in a little bit more on this. So we're gonna go. Yeah, up on the top. All right. So you see the joint with Fulton, Butler, Donaire, and Japan.
Yeah.
All right. Go back to 2014 real fast, and then just work our ways up.
All right, here we go. So Adrian Hernandez,
number 1 fighter at 108 at that time.
Okay.
And then jumps up 2 divisions after he beats Basapin and beat Navarez, who was the number 1 dude at 115 at the time. So that's 2 number 1 dudes in 1 year. That's what I put him on my pound for pound list.
Okay. I noticed you wanted to overlook the dude that was 17-4, but continue.
Yeah, of course. Yo, listen.
No.
I'm gonna explain.
You want to tell Zoe? I feel like you only wanted to tell one part of the story though.
No, because I'm gonna use historical. I'm gonna use historical context. You feel me?
Go
Because like my other favorite fighter of all time, my number one favorite fighter of all time, I'll fight anybody for even talking bad about him, is James Toney, right? When James Toney was pound for pound number one in the pound number one, you feel me? Every fight wasn't Michael Nunn. Every fight wasn't Timmy Little. There was some guys in between there. You feel me? That was, he was an
I feel you, but
that never affected his
you're
pound for
fighting
pound
twice
ranking.
a year.
Huh?
You're fighting twice a year. But continue. Just continue. I want you to see this. I want you to see this live. Keep going.
Okay. So
Navarez.
He beat Navarez. Okay. So then his next big fight was Kohei Kono. Kohei Kono. I think he had like what he been involved in like what 9 title fights. I think, you feel me.
So 23-5.
23. Yes. Okay. YSM. So you saying YSM?
Keep going.
What do you have anyway in your pound for pound, YSM?
Keep going. Going. You're digging yourself in the hole. Keep going.
I'm not digging myself in the hole.
Yes, you are.
I'm not digging myself in the hole.
So
I'm not digging myself in the hole.
Yeah, but the thing about it is like, I mean, we kind of mentioned it earlier. Yeah, he had those fights in 2014 against, Adrian Hernandez and Omar Navarez, and they kind of like put him around the conversation for fighter of the year that year. But it's like after that, when he had these defenses of the WBO super flyweight title, that okay, I think this is what YSM's bringing up, like the perennials, the Carmonas, the Joey Pianlers.
Yeah, I understand. Look, JR, I understand what he's saying. But those wins that he had, doesn't take away from the Jamie McDonald win, the Payano win, the Rodriguez win, the Donier win, the Moloney win. Those wins doesn't take it away. Saying that he doesn't take it away.
Wait. I mentioned to you, when you tell his story,
yeah,
you still have to highlight the fact that he didn't face the elite fighters at 115. He was like, oh yeah, he faced the number one guy. And then
at 2014, that was the number one guy.
So in the next 4 or 5 fights, who the fuck did he fight?
You're right. But he fought the number one guy in the division. We can't ignore that. That happened.
Okay, so let me ask you this: was he the number one guy for the next 4 or 5 fights?
At 115.
So that's the equivalent of you telling me that Earl Spence beat Kell Brook and didn't face Danny Garcia, Jordanis Ugas, Sean Porter, and you're cool with that because he faced Kell Brook.
That's a good resume.
So I love you.
That's a good resume, nigga. You just said Errol Spence. That's a good resume. What Errol Spence just did. That's good.
He's saying if he didn't do it,
I'm saying if he didn't do it, you would have been cool with that.
If he didn't do it, okay. I'll say
that's what you're saying to me, though, bro.
It depends what everybody else did. You feel me?
No, the division was still popping. In 2015, 2016, the division was still popping.
Oh, wait. Hold up. Super flyweight, right? Okay, what was that? 2016, right? So he had beat Carmona and Joe Pianler and Kohei Kono, right? With the WBO, right? Take a guess as who was the WBC champion there at Super
Roman Gonzalez.
Wasn't Sorrel Rugmasov?
It was Gonzalez. He didn't lose yet. Gonzalez ain't lose yet.
Yeah, Gonzalez ain't lose yet.
Wait, Gonzalez was undefeated?
Around that time, I think so.
Hey, Zoe, what the fuck, bro?
What do you mean, what the fuck?
I missed it. What the fuck? Tell me what the fuck. I think I missed it.
I thought that Gonzalez had lost by that time.
Nah, he lost in 2016, I think.
So you telling me Gonzalez was? So you telling me Gonzalez was undefeated? Was that around the time he's pound for pound number one?
Yeah.
Please don't say that.
Listen, he wasn't pound for pound number one.
I'm asking JR. JR, was that around the time he's pound for pound number one?
He might have been. I gotta see like where he was.
Pound number 1 or number 2, whatever you want to call.
Wait. He's lost what 4 times, so he was undefeated. He hadn't lost.
He became pound for pound.
Lost to Rungvisai yet, right?
He became pound for pound after the Brian Valorio fight, which was at 112. He moved to 115.
So, but here was the thing though with Chocolatito though. In 2016, he was WBC champ, but he didn't become WBC champ at super flyweight till September of that year. That was the thing. So I think they were kind of discussing potentially having Chocolatito versus
Wait. Jay, wait. So you telling me when he said that he jumped over the weight class, he jumped 2 weight classes.
He did.
He jumped flyweight. Jay.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest criticism people had of
Jay,
him. They said he ducked.
Jay, did this dude jump over Roman Gonzalez's weight class?
At flyweight.
Yep, he did.
Hey, Zoe. Hey, Zoe, you can't. Conversation's over, Zoe.
And Zoe gonna tell me earlier.
I gotta make a video retract. I have to make a video retracting my statement.
Boxing
I have to make a video.
Hey, YSL, now he's trying to come to me. Now he's trying to come to me because you know what's going on in the division. Now he want to come to me because I don't know what's going on.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he jumped. Yo, that's a bad look, bro.
Wait, so am I back on the Inoue joint? All right, bet. All right, so wait, he went to super flyweight. Yeah, that was he went 2014 and then went to super flyweight 2014. So I'm looking at who was there at 2014. Like he had, what was it? Run Wrong. You had Chocolatito was there as a champ in 2014. Who else? Then Estrada was there as a champ, and Estrada was a unified champ at flyweight. So you had Estrada, you had Chocolatito, and you had Ruin Wrong there at flyweight as champ.
Oh, who was he signed with around that time?
Who?
Anyway, I can't remember.
He's been with Tekken this whole time, right?
Yeah, I think he's been with Tekken the whole time though.
So you gotta just take the L silently, bro.
What L? That's pound for pound number 1. He's pound for pound number 1.
That's an L, bro.
How's that an L? You went on your show and said whoever went between.
And I just said, I had to retract that. I just said I gotta retract that statement. I had to go on and I had to retract that statement. I didn't know he jumped over. I didn't know he jumped over a whole weight class, bro. I didn't know that.
I thought you knew he jumped over the whole weight class.
Listen. I'm gonna say, I know about Sora Rungvisai. I was a big Sora Rungvisai fan after the Chocolatito. But I didn't know. I was
about to call y'all from a different device, so let me back in.
I didn't know. I didn't know Inoue. I thought that he went in each weight class. I thought he didn't fight them at 115.
Nah.
I didn't know he actually jumped over. Bro, hey Terrell. I don't even know I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah, he went from 108 to 115. He skipped 112. But that was the thing, like, what was it like? It was like last year or something like that. Like even MVO talked about that because he was the one that kind of really brought that case up against Inoue, that from him going to 108 to 115, he had skipped that 112 where you had Estrada, where you had Quadras, where you had Chocolatito, where you had Worm.
So essentially what you telling me is he ducked the wreck.
Pretty much. And
I'm not even saying, let's not even say him, but his team, his management, because those are the names I know in the smaller weight classes. In the smaller weight classes, I am a casual, right?
Mm-hmm.
But those are
I know them names too.
Yeah, those are elite names, right? You ain't fighting none of them motherfuckers.
and those are the type of names that are likely that would have given him a loss, especially Chocolatito.
I'm not even going to say that. I'm just saying it's the what would we have done if Andre Ward didn't face Kessler, didn't face none? He just jumped up to 175. What would we have done?
He would definitely not be rated.
Oh, you mean what if he had damn, because he had the joint with 168. So like, what if he skipped Kovalev and them or something like that?
It's a bad look, bro. It's the same. Like this is giving me Tank vibes. He's giving me Tank vibes right now.
Oh well, someone's still on here. He probably agree with you on that one, though.
Really exciting fighter, cash cow, and looking for certain situations that fit. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, I'm gonna hop over. No, we ain't gonna do that. We gonna do this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not necessarily picking. Like, I had a different perception of him until now. Like, I'm gonna have to retract that statement.
Oh man, come on, man! Like I was saying earlier, man. I'm like, yo, this dude could be at number one. He could have a case to be number one pound.
Nah,
yo,
it's back to Usyk for me. It's back to Usyk, bro.
Oh man, I was ready to change up my pound for
pound. I was too. Like, dude, what you want me to? I saw Usyk. I saw Usyk walk around like, hey, greedy belly. I take you. You know what I'm saying? He went up, and Anthony Joshua was considered as a top 2, top 3 heavyweight unified champion.
Yep.
Whoop his ass.
He should be back. Hey, Zoe's back. Hey, bring up the thing. Your man Inoue gives me Tank vibes.
You said what?
Inoue gives me Tank vibes now.
Who said that? Who's this?
Me. This is Jamil.
Oh, you say he gives you Tank's vibes?
Yeah, this is giving me Tank vibes.
Oh man, YSM.
No, it's the truth.
Oh man, I think you.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Yeah. What if I told you, right? Shakur Stevenson, he goes, wins a belt at 126, moves up to 130, unifies the division, and then jumps over Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, all those guys, and then goes to 140 pounds. What would you say?
This what I would say. He sure have to do some hella fucking work at 147. At 140 to make up for it. That's what I would say.
Ain't no making up. You would say, what the fuck?
No, because you know why I know I wouldn't say.
The first thing you would say is, what the fuck?
You know how I know I wouldn't say what the fuck, because like I highlighted before. Why all my uncles and cousins was making fun of me for being a Floyd fan till he didn't want to fight those guys at 140. I didn't give a fuck. He made up for that 147. I don't give a flying fuck.
So you talking about a nigga jumping over a weight class, bro?
But I'm not sure if it's not just him jumping over the weight class.
No. The fights never happened, but it could be political reasons. You know what I'm saying? Promotional reasons, right? That shit happens, Jay. But the fact that it don't look good that you tried to jump over them niggas before you tried to jump over them, and they was like, surprise, motherfucker, we here too. That's what it looks like.
Wait. What you saying? He jumped over them from 112, went to 115. When they jumped to 115, he left. That's what you're saying.
Listen. He jumped up. They were at 112. He was at 108. He didn't go to 112. He went to 115. It looks like you avoiding the work.
That's interesting to say, because it depends how It depends how people was looking at Gonzalez back in the day. I'm one of those people who thought Gonzalez was the goods. Cause I remember when the shit happened. I remember when the shit happened when he moved up to 115. And to be honest, I didn't think much of it. You feel me? I was just like, okay. I don't remember people was clamoring for that. I don't remember there was a demand for that kind of shit.
No. Because Naoya Inoue wasn't looked at. But when you want to talk about this, I'm a 4-division world champion, you jumped over a weight class where the best fighters of the smaller weights was at. You giving me dudes that's 30 what was that record say? You give me niggas that's 17-4. I like that.
Well, okay. Here goes something for you. Jamil, right? All right, check it. So you have him, you have Inoue defending that super flyweight title. What was that, from like 2016 through like 2017 or whatever it is, and then going up to bantamweight to face Jamie McDonald in 2018. Let me go back to this here again. Let me make sure I got this right.
Yeah, everybody.
Who was like the champs there? Actually, 2016 and 2017 WBC champ.
I think it was Estrada. Rangoon was there somewhere.
No, Estrada was later than that. So it was before Estrada.
Carlos Quadro? Well, Quadro, whatever. Yeah.
First it was Quadras, then it was Chocolatito, and then it was Sobrang Vasai. So from like 2016 and 2017, he could have had a fight with either one of those guys to unify. So even if he skipped the division at 112, he still could have fought him at 115.
Hey Zo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a
number one.
I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a video tomorrow. Nah, he's not, bro.
Pound for pound number one, man. We can't take away the wins.
Nah, he's a great fighter. I'm not going to take away his wins, but that's a major strike, my nigga.
I just feel good that I don't know much about him, and I'm still prophetic.
That's a major. No, Terrell. Essentially, what he's saying, right, is Shakur Stevenson beats Oscar Valdez, can't make the weight no more, right? And instead of going to 35, which it tanks your Lomachenko's, your Teofimo Lopez's, instead of Ryan Garcia's, instead of going to 35, where the crux of the work is at, he hops over to 140.
Well, then, if that was the case, his rating would significantly go down, and I'm glad you highlighted that, because like now when I look at Inoue and consider that fact about what he did, I'm not going to rate him down too much lower, but at the same time, the rating goes down when you take that into consideration. Because like I said, at 112, he has some world beaters there, guys that were a serious threat to him. And with it said, did his team look at that and consider that?
Yo, yes, yeah, come on, man. Come on, man. We know the business of boxing, right?
Right.
So that dude was pound for pound number fucking one. You jumped over it. His team looked at the landscape. I'm getting a lot of love out here. I'm selling tickets. Yeah, we don't want that work. Nah.
Jamil done ran Zoe off.
So 2016, I guess that.
This Mike, I said you done ran Zoe off.
I did?
Nah, his phone probably messed up or something.
Yeah.
Hey, Zoe, my man too, but bro, I didn't know this. I was on record. And on record saying that the winner of Inoue and Fulton would be my pound for pound number one. But I thought that he ran through. I knew he didn't fight him, but I didn't know the circumstances were like this though. I thought he might have aged out the weight class before he could get those fights. But I didn't know it was this, bro. I'm about to go to bed. Man. This is depressing.
Yeah, like that's the thing though. Like 2014, you had what Inoue did in 2014, but also had Chocolatito, as a world champion at flyweight at 2014, and then on top of that, like he moved up to super flyweight, and he beat Quadras.
Yeah, but that's something.
That's pretty much like what had him, around that number 1, number 2 pound for pound at the time.
Jay, this is the thing though. At these smaller weights, you can do a whole lot of moving and jumping and avoiding, but when you get to the higher weights, 40 to 47, there isn't.
You can't.
The gap is 7 to 8. The gap is 7 to 8 pounds.
He back.
So he effectively.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know.
I was in the middle of a tirade and I just got cut off. So let me finish the tirade. I'm saying
we thought he ran you off.
Man, get the fuck out of here. That's something you wish. You feel me? But anyway, so let's go back to it. During my tirade, what I was saying, I said if you YSM, if your criticism it says you feel that because you feel like he avoided the smoke at 112, if you want to use that as a strike, that's fair to you. What I'm saying is his victories, and especially the Fulton victory, is enough for me to put him number 1. And the way he beat Fulton, who was a world beater to me, the way he beat Fulton, it would have to take Bud to beat Fulton it would take Bud for me to beat Spence very significantly for me to approach him. That's in my shit. I'm saying if you want to use the 112 shit as a strike, that's fair to you. What I'm saying is on my pound for pound, his wins and his wins and the Fulton win is big. And another thing I was saying before I got cut off, I don't know if y'all heard this part or not, is I said look up Roman Gonzalez's box rec, because a lot of those fighters under those 118, 115, 112, those Thailand, Japanese motherfuckers, those records don't really be a reflect of how a fighter actually is. You see a lot of records, like you might see a record in Roman Gonzalez while he's pound for pound number 1. You might see some shit that look like a 23-2. You might see a record like that. You feel me? That's just the nature of those weight classes.
Yeah, but my point is, it is the nature of the weight classes, though, Zoe.
But I'm saying, remember I said if you want to use that as a strike that he avoided 112, I said that's okay. What I'm saying
is, when we go to tell his story, right?
Yeah,
they say 4 division champion. That is like they add that a part of the story in his foundation to be pound for pound, right? But it's hollow when you put it under the fucking microscope. No, it doesn't stack up. It doesn't.
So
and it's obvious, it's glaring. You can like him, right? But you the one that brought this to light to me. I didn't know you was like, yeah, he jumped up 2 weight classes, and I'm like, that's kind of odd.
But before you got on, Zoe had a conversation about niggas make him sick or something like that. He said, I don't know what he said.
No, here's what I said. No, I was basically saying I hate the race. You see, this nigga, I ain't gonna lie, this shit starting to get me fake hot. Because this nigga trying to make it seem like I'm
messing with you, Zoe. I'm joking, Zoe. I'm joking.
Why? So what I was saying is, I said what I hate about boxing, what makes me very irritated to talk boxing with people is because there's a racial element that exists in boxing that's annoying. You have those cracker ass Doug Fishers and Steve Kim. You have those crackers, but with every one of them, you also have the black ones too. You have the Mexican one too. It's annoying. You feel these niggas can't see the trees from the forest. It's all about race and nationality, and that shit's annoying. Like the same people who are saying, oh, I don't count Inoue and Roman Gonzalez for being pound for pound because then sperm weight were the same niggas that was hyping up Regan down because he's black. You feel me? And it's vice versa. You have the same crackers here want to put Tanaka in the pound for pound list when he did the exact same shit Lomachenko did without a fucking loss. You feel me? So that's the type of shit that annoys me. That's what the shit I was talking about. It's not that I hate niggas. It's
now you cleaning that shit up. You said niggas earlier though. I'm just saying.
Man, everybody does that shit. That shit fucking that shit blows my shit. You feel me? That shit.
He called me a nigga earlier for no reason.
That shit annoy. That shit just annoys the shit out of me when it comes to boxing. Is that racial? Like me, I'm Haitian. I'm never gonna sit here and say Andre Berto is better than fucking Mayweather just because I'm fucking Haitian. Yeah, you feel me? That doesn't work. You feel me? You gotta judge the fighters based off what they do.
No, man. You shouldn't say that with Andre Berto, man. You know what you should say, man. You should say Bermond Severn's better than Deontay Wilder.
First of all, Bermond Severn is not Haitian. Fuck that nigga. You
I
feel me?
remember you say that shit.
That nigga's
I
He's
just
not
Canadian.
Haitian.
That nigga's
I
Canadian.
just remember you said that.
He's not Haitian.
He's Canadian.
How you
Fuck
gonna
that.
defend
We don't claim that nigga.
How you
Hey,
gonna
yo,
defend people like that?
but this is the thing with that, right? So I get what you're saying. And yeah, that definitely is the climate. It's a very toxic climate in boxing, and I see it every day. There is a disparity with the haters, though. We're going to say the Jones. It'd be like 20-1 and 30-1, where certain demographics are more likely to give credit to others. Others aren't. Like you got Roman Gonzalez over Andre Ward. You got Lomachenko with a loss over Andre Ward and Terrence Crawford. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So while yeah, you get fans that maybe carry a sentiment, like black fans that carry that sentiment. You got Mexican fans or white fans if they feel that way, but also you got the systemic part of it.
Yeah.
Where the networks and the publications, which are owned by these other demographics that can actually affect a fighter's career, as
And
opposed to fans that just talking shit. So there's that aspect to it. I definitely want to give dudes their credit, but I if I'm going to be fair, Alexander Usyk is still my pound for pound number one based off of what you want to like.
But there's an example right there, right? Like he has Usyk up there high. I have Usyk up there high.
I have Usyk in my top 3.
Right. But like a lot of times we'll also include someone like a Jermell Charlo in our pound for pound top 10.
Yeah.
A publication like an ESPN or Ring Magazine or something like that, they don't put Jermell Charlo anywhere near the top 10.
And he checks all the boxes that they ask you to check. All the shit they ask you to do, he does it.
Hold on, what was that?
I said, Charlo, everything these racist publications ask boxers to do to be legendary, Charlo does it, and they still don't put him in the top pound for pound list.
They still don't put him on the top pound for pound. Yep.
It's clown shit. It's fucking clown shit. But it's fucking clown shit. But like, it's just like, look at a nigga like a fucking Arturo Gotti. You feel me? I know this is the part where I'm supposed to say rest in peace, but man, I don't give a fuck. This nigga, because those cracker ass medias love them so much, they pretend and give us a story like he was a great fighter. They remixed the story about how he was beating up the fuck out of his wife in Brazil and made it seem, they switched the story to make it seem like she was the evil one. That all happened because you have your fucking friends, and then these niggas put him in the fucking Hall of Fame. You feel me? That's the shit that happens when these white media members love you. Feel me? Triple G wasn't number one before he fought Canelo. He fought Canelo, and the shit was quarters draw. The next day, he was pound for pound number one by fucking Ring Magazine. What the fuck is that?
Well, they were putting him close to number one, like when he beat David Lemieux.
Like, come on, man.
Some people would probably view David Lemieux equivalent to how Boxing Academic views Julius Ndongo as a world champion.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
He ain't that good.
Yeah, but with that being said, yeah, like that's the shit. But then again, like oh my god, the fan, like it's like you can't sit here and be like, yo, boxing is racist against us. Boxing is racist against us. They hate black fighters, and then Canelo go fucking win the undisputed Euro bums. Like, nigga, oh, they bums because they're from Europe, or you feel me? I understand you say he fought some bums. I'm like, cool. You said Euro, but like, so they bums because they from Europe. Like, the niggas, you doing the same shit.
Billy Joe wasn't that good either. He was alright, but he wasn't that good.
All right, yo. I agree, but some shit is a reaction to the systemic part of it, though.
I understand that. LDBC is a reaction.
Yeah, boxing is tribal, and I'm saying I do see fans get like exactly how you saying on every side. You got your art man. You know what I'm saying.
Oh my god,
you got your dudes that you got your dudes that go in. But I do think that a lot of it stems from the systemic part. And the systemic part is it upholds I'm going to say it puts certain demographics on a pedestal for whatever reason, whether it's financial or whether it's racial. And I mean, like you're more focused on what fans are saying, but there's like a bigger part. Like what is ESPN saying? What is
Yeah,
CBS? Like, who does CBS? Who does Fox? You know what I mean? This could actually the WBC, the IBF, the WBO that could actually affect fighters' careers and pays. It just doesn't seem like it's a fair system.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a fair system, man. It's fucked up, man. Sometimes it makes it hard for me because you feel me. Dialogue is part of the sport. No matter what people say, dialogue is part of the sport. You feel me? And that's part of makes it that part so like, oh my fucking god. Like okay, like one of the shits that annoy me to no end is the Inoue reminds me of Manny Pacquiao shit. How? What they do fight nothing alike, my nigga. You feel me? There's nothing. They do not fight alike. Like what the fuck? Anyway, looks more like American fighter, nigga. What the fuck are y'all saying? You feel me? Shit like that. Like that's just based off. That's just based off of like purely race. Like you, that means niggas not even watching the nigga for real.
Yeah, but boxing, unlike football, like who's your bum ass football team, Jack?
See, you wanted to stick that shit in. God
Who's
damn.
your bum ass football team?
I'm a Giants fan. I'm a fucking Giants fan, nigga. Eagles fan, happy as hell.
The Giants represent New York.
Yeah.
The people look at boxing as a boxer represents their race, and they made Inoue versus Fulton racial when it didn't need to be. It was unnecessary. In my comments, like, bro, it was like. They was just talking all kinds of crazy shit to me. Oh, why you interviewing these Philly guys? It was like, bro, if I interview dudes from Japan, you think they going for phone?
Yeah, exactly.
I rooted for Fulton because he was black, not knowing much about Inoue.
But guess what though? There's nothing wrong with you rooting for your countrymen. There's nothing wrong for you rooting for a black person, a person of your race and creed. It's when you denigrate another because of their racial creed. That's an issue. But supporting your own isn't an issue. And I don't understand why people want to act like, black people are the only culture that shouldn't support them. It's like they be like, oh man.
It's like that general point they make, right? They say because you're pro-black that you're anti-white.
That's like YSM. Like the reason I was looking forward to coming to this live, and I've been asking like Joe when he's gonna go live, is because I wanted to talk shit to Boxing Academic. But the only reason I wanted to talk shit to Boxing Academic because this is a safe space, a safe combine. That when I start saying, Fulton got his ass beat by Inoue. When I say shit like that, ain't gonna be like 17 racist crackers coming and be like, he beat his ass, and I feel uncomfortable. Like nigga, why y'all here for? Y'all making me look like I'm with y'all. You feel? I'm just you feel me?
And that's what I was talking about with the disparity.
Yeah,
the disparity is, for every one black person you see making a nut ass comment, how many other motherfuckers do you see when Tank gets a W, when Wilder gets a W, when Andre Ward gets a W, bro? It's like, come on, man.
Dude, even back in the day before Mayweather was getting W's.
Wasn't nobody paying attention to these long until a black man lost, got his ass whipped, and now all of a sudden it's the topic of conversation. Well, nobody going crazy about his win over Paul Butler. Why is that?
Paul Butler fucking sucks.
Nah, there's always a racial component to it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but at the same time, like a lot of the people who judge Inoue's skill set before the fight, it was based nothing but preconceived racial connotation. That's all it was. There was nothing else other than that. It wasn't no film. I'm not saying everybody, because I'm pretty sure you doing your job.
Wait,
you had to watch.
You felt like his people analyzing him was just racial? Give me
I'm saying a lot of people who are saying this is gonna be an easy fight. This is exposed. Blah blah blah. No, I'm not. There's people who thought Fulton was gonna win that. I don't care because I thought it was gonna be a close fight. I thought it was gonna be like a 115, 130, 160, 112. I expected Inoue to win on a tough fight. But for the people who are saying he's gonna expose him, Inoue can't do this, he can't do that, he doesn't know how to do this, he doesn't know how to do that. My thought process like you never watched him and you're basing this shit off his race. Just like on the other side of people who's like, oh man, Fulton's gonna get destroyed, blah blah blah. He can't take power. He's gonna run. I know that word run mean. I know that coded word mean for black fighters. I know that shit means. You feel me? A lot of people wasn't judging this fight based off who these guys were. You feel me?
Yeah, a lot of people weren't, but I can't completely attribute that to race because people don't watch small man boxing. They're unfamiliar. So if you look at Inoue's resume, you don't recognize him.
Academic, you're about to
If you're
say something.
Yeah, if you're what?
I was, but I'm not.
Wait. If you go to his resume, you're a casual fan. You don't recognize anybody. You the smaller guys, you know Chapudito, you know Estrada, you know Quadras. You don't see none of those guys on it.
And word on the street, he ain't fought none of them guys.
Yeah. So when you see Donaire, it's like, okay, well, how old was Donaire? He's old. Okay, well, in my mind, you're a hype job. I've never really seen you. You ain't beat nobody I heard of. So I'm going to say you're a hype job. Are they wrong? Are they wrong for analyzing it that way? Yeah, of course, because you got to do your homework.
Because another thing I gotta say, people gotta be careful for the people who saying Inoue is a hype job. Because I'm gonna go back to boxing academic. Because the narrative.
I never said he was a hype job. I never said he was a hype job. I never said that.
What happens is Inoue doesn't end up being the only victim here. You feel me? Because in order to justify Inoue beating Fulton, now they make Fulton even a bigger hype job. Now people start saying, well, what did Fulton really do? Who did he really beat at? That's something boxing academic.
That's a legitimate question, though. Knowing what I saw Fulton do in the ring, I like Fulton as a fighter, but I'm saying... Say what?
Are you unfamiliar with Cool Boy's career?
I've
seen Cool Boy maybe 3 of his fights. But
I've seen him since Josh Greer. I've seen him since Josh Greer, and I've been following him since the Josh Greer fight.
But what I am saying is that watching that fight with Inoue, Fulton is lacking a couple things that had he had would have made that fight a little bit more competitive and made him probably even be
perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect boxer. There's nothing perfect. There's no fight who does anything perfect.
I understand that, but Fulton things that it just looked like a couple fundamentals that either his mind in a way took away his mind and made him really question himself that much, or he was looking for how he could combat those things from his tool set, and he didn't have it in there.
Now going back to the fight with YSM on here, YSM, like share what you were saying about what Fulton could have did in this fight.
Mike kind of threw me off because I wanted.
I say something about a Philly fighter. Let me know. Let me have it.
Just give me 1 second. All right. So, if you're unfamiliar, he's beaten 9 undefeated fighters. This was his 10th. Okay, in a world where you have guys that when they're moving through the ranks, they're avoiding certain things and they're getting carefully moved because they're considered a blue chip prospect. He had a hard way to go up.
Mm-hmm.
You will recognize damn near everybody that he fought on his way up. In the sense of, you can't call him a hype job. He went in there with a better fighter.
I'm not calling him a hype job.
Wait a minute. He did not perform nowhere near to his capability, and it cost him. A couple of things that I saw. First, the really, really wide stance. He doesn't normally fight that way.
Yeah.
He was standing in front of him. He let Inoue establish the stab to the body, and I felt like that was the key to the fight because the stab to the body set up all the other shots. Fulton didn't use his legs, nor did he apply the pressure that I thought he would in pockets. I thought it was going to be similar to Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, the second half of the fight.
That's what I said.
On to the second fight, where I thought he would use lateral movement and then make quick moves on the inside and then bully him. He did not. I think he felt.
What happened to that Philly style?
I think he felt the power.
He said, "Fuck this shit,"
and he made a point. He was going to try to counter him, and the kid was too fast because it's really a 108 who's strong and fast.
Why some?
You aren't going to outbox a 108. You're not going to beat a 108 to the punch. It's not happening. Go ahead.
Do you feel like, because I felt like this watching the fight, do you think Fulton was over exaggerating the I'm not saying the punches didn't hurt, but the way he would move out the way of the punches and shit, like, do you think that was he over exaggerate that shit, like it gave Inoue
Of
more
course
confidence?
not.
I think the speed bothered him to the point where he had over exaggerated movement to the feints.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Though,
Yes.
That's
So
what I'm talking about.
I think the speed. I think Inoue's punching in the speed. He wasn't used to being out quick and beaten to the punch, and I don't think that he made any adjustments to that. After
And
round 2, you realize, okay, he's beating me to the punch. I need to do something else. I have to do something to offset it. He just he didn't learn something.
the one adjustment that I was looking for when he tried to punch Inoue square in the face, like you said, Inoue was faster, which means he beat him to the punch. I didn't see this man very many times punch him to the shoulder or anything else to at least open up the right hand. And then he was also, I get this part, he had to be very conscious of what was coming back at him. And so he was overly defensive. I understand that. I understand why. You know, the guy that was in front of him would make anybody do that. But he had the guy shell shocked in the sense. And, you know, it just he was in that mid ground to the far ground, and that was a no man's land. And he didn't close the distance like I thought. Like, to me, if he was getting picked off like that, I expected him to. It's easy for me to say this sitting on the sideline, but I expected him to close the distance, get on this man's shoulder, and start throwing shots. But again, the power, the speed, probably had him shell shocked to even do that because he was concerned about getting touched with shots probably on the inside as well.
Asian fighters are very good with the long range. So I know you don't like to add race in it, but race has a lot to do with style and action.
No. That part I agree. They're
very good mid to long range, but they are not good on the inside. But they haven't been proven to be great cutters off the ring either. So in the situation, I felt like he should have used the lateral movement to see if Inoue could cut off the ring, and maybe some openings will open up if Inoue got flustered from not being able to catch Fulton. And then that's when you start your body attack to slow him down.
Why, Sam? I'm looking forward to see if you're gonna interview Fulton's coach, because the question I want you to ask him was that part of the game plan to come out with the wide stance, and was that to try to improve his linear movement against Inoue?
It won't be for a long time.
Damn.
So
that way.
Listen, Jamil, to your point, Inoue was superly overly confident, and when he was walking in, his hands were down. I don't know if this is a common trait of him to where he's 2-3 feet in front of a guy, his hands are down, and then he brings shots from his hip. But I really expected, like you said, lateral movement from Fulton, and then Inoue falling behind him with his hands down, and then he walk him to shots similar to how, let's say, like a Keith Thurman does.
He stood, Mike. Essentially, they stood foot to foot.
Yeah.
Now you're standing foot to foot with a 108 who can punch. So it was honestly, he was in his comfort zone. I'm going to get my shit off. I'm going to bounce back. And I really don't have anything to worry about because you are the slower man that you're not used to being the slower. And you're not causing me. I said, you're the slower man who's not used to being the slower man. In Fulton's fights, if you go back to like the last 6 or 7, he was the faster man. But you're going up against somebody who's faster than you, and now you're sitting there foot to foot in range, and where they could just hit you and then slide out. And I ain't talking about slide out where they're actually moving that far out, because he's still in punching range when he's moving. Bro, it was a bad game plan. It seemed like the moment got to him, and
Another thing, my one of my colleagues at Three Kings Boxing brought this point up. You feel me? They said, did Fulton make a tactical error by coming into Japan a little too late and then not then acclimate well enough? Because he was saying
You got
something.
that from Bo, right?
Yeah, Bo. Yeah, from Three King. Yeah, so Bo was saying he feels like did that have something to do with the performance? Because he did say so in the press conference we said, "Oh, it was me. My timing was off, something like that." We would let you to believe that that's something that happens when you're lethargic. I'm not using that as an excuse. I'm a for anyway. I'm just saying, is that did that potentially was issue in that fight? Do you think?
Okay, if you look at it, and Mike, Mike and JR, really listen to this. Initially, he was supposed to fight Brandon Figueroa
Yeah.
November 19th on the undercard of Spence versus Crawford.
Yep.
So at that time, right, Inoue's going into the fight with Paul Butler in December. So it was the move to 126. The fight fell through, Terrence Crawford pulled Terrence Crawford. And so now Inoue goes in and has his fight undisputed. So now I'm undisputed champ. And then everybody start clamoring for Fulton versus Inoue. When now Fulton's going to be out of the ring
14
for like 9 months, but then what's the name pushes it back. So now he's out of the ring for over a year. And that has something to do with your timing because Inoue just fought Paul Butler. And Cool Boy ain't fought since what, June?
Yep.
So there's a whole bunch of factors for having to train through Ramadan. These are not excuses, but they're factors. Like it was a perfect storm of situations, along with Inoue being a bad motherfucker. So they essentially paid him to inconvenience himself.
So watch him. I got a question.
What?
Anyway, a bad motherfucker. We can all agree to that. If they fought again and circumstances were better, maybe you don't even want to answer this, but would the outcome really change knowing what we know about Fulton's ability or maybe him making the adjustments and not the moment not getting bigger or whatever, there may be a different, because you're right. When he was a faster man, he looks like a completely different man.
Mike, when you said ability, right? Let me ask you a question. Has there ever been a fighter that you were convinced that they were good and had a shitty night?
Yep. I can name. I could round off. I got, man. My favorite fighter, James Toney, nigga. So there's some nights in there that look crazy.
So, Mike, have you where you like, yo, what the fuck is up with him? He on some shit. Like a lot goes into them preparing for that night. If shit doesn't go right, I've seen plenty of you. Okay, Floyd versus Madonna won. Did Floyd look like Floyd?
Nope.
He looked like shit.
I'm not gonna lie, man. You know what? His defense was his offense was spectacular that night, man. His counter was off the wall that night, man. The first Maidano fight, his counter was crazy that night, but that's just me.
The first 4 rounds, Floyd looked like dog shit.
Yeah.
Floyd arguably lost those first 4 rounds.
I had it too. The work Floyd was doing off the. I'm not gonna try to deviate the conversation, but I just think the work Floyd was doing off the ropes, man. He won 2 of the first 4 rounds, but in my opinion,
I'm saying he's better than that, and the next time he'll perform. Mike,
if they fight again, it would be a different outcome. You think?
What he can do, and this is what I would do if I was Al Haymon in Fulton's management. I'm going at 126. I'm going after 2 belts. Inoue's going to clean out 22. So
and you got 5 back. Yep.
Yeah, bring me back. Raymond Ford is not going to be at 126 long. Wink, wink. So he may get a vacant and then dip. Right? So put yourself in position where you can get 1, hopefully 2 belts. And now you at 26. Like, bro, it was hard for him to make 122. He's a big guy. He didn't look like he rehydrated well either. But I'm not making excuses. I'm just analyzing the whole situation.
The whole scene
Yeah, and
But
even on
yeah,
that same logic, if he goes to 126 and
yeah.
Robeisy Ramirez, for example, builds himself even more, and Inoue doesn't fight him and skip him, and for whatever reason, once again, that would definitely be a negative connotation towards him. Definitely.
Not if he fights Valdez or whoever won Valdez Navarrete at 130, man. I wouldn't be mad at it.
So
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at it if he went to
if
go
he
fight.
jumps from 122 to 130,
Yeah. I mean, if Fulton has a belt there, and Fulton has established himself as a man, you have to see him again. I think that's a must. You feel me? But
no. If he doesn't want to fight Fulton, I'm not mad. I'm saying Robeisy right. If he goes to
but
126, you got to see Robeisy.
I'm already predicting that I said that early in the show. I said after he beat Tapales, he fighting Ramirez. He fighting Ramirez, and he's gonna fight Ramirez early 2024. He's gonna wash him. You feel me? Then he's gonna go fight the winner of Valdez and Navarrete. I think it's gonna be Valdez at 130. He's gonna beat them by decision, and then they're gonna try to set up a fight with him and Loma, nigga.
Yo, two things, right?
Yeah.
Stylistically, there's a style of fighter that would give him trouble.
Casemiro?
No. There's a style of fighter that would give him trouble that people just looking at the skills and when you see like really explosive guys, you get caught up in the skibbity dibbity, the sprinkles and
Yeah.
like it'll be a dude like Brandon Figueroa that
I'm not with you there. Man.
Because the guys that are fast and can punch, what happens when a dude's not going to go anywhere? And like, okay, good shot. Let's keep going. And then now he's trying to swarm you. I think that'd be an interesting fight. But make no mistake, he can't beat Vasyl Lomachenko. I don't know where people gets that shit from. No. He will get his ass beat. There's a certain threshold for every great fighter, bro. They got weight classes for a reason.
Yeah.
Lomachenko at 130? Nigga, what? You think Lomachenko gonna be there?
Like, that's Lomachenko at the weight class I say that he should be at.
Man,
and then I hear dudes talking about Tank. Come on, let's stop it.
Loma's gonna go back to 130 after Shakur takes care of him, man.
Bro, he cannot beat no Vasyl Lomachenko. I don't even want to see that shit.
What you said, Shakur?
No. Naoya Inoue can't beat Vasyl Lomachenko.
I'm not gonna lie. I think the difference in opinions of Inoue between me and you is I rate Inoue's like boxing IQ really high. I really high. Like before the Fulton fight, I was telling. Listen, let me get this off. Let me get this off. I was telling JR before the Fulton fight that Fulton couldn't win a boxing match. You feel? That's how much I thought of Inoue's boxing. I thought Fulton path to victory was going to be to get him on the inside. You feel me? And use that Philly style and rough him up on the inside. That's what I thought was going to be his path to victory. I think he can outbox Inoue to a 116, 112 decision, dog. But that's how much I think of his Inoue. That's what I think of Inoue boxing ability.
Outboxing who?
Loma in a boxing match, not a fight, not catching him, clipping him, a boxing match.
We'll
put money on it when the times come. That's a fight. I'll put money when the times come.
What the fuck, Zoe?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yo. Hey, man.
They have Jay. This is what we do, right? We get one performance, and then you remember when Tank knocked out Hector Garcia, and dudes was like, man, Tank can move up, but Tank can beat Keith Thurman. No, the fuck he can't.
No, that was Mario Barrios.
Mario Barrios. No, the fuck he can't.
That's different.
No, it's the same. It's the same. No, yes, it is.
That's different.
Bro, they have weight classes for a reason. Vasily Lomachenko ain't no stiff.
No, I ain't say he's a stiff. I'm just telling you.
No.
ATG. We got an ATG over there from the Rising Sun. That's an ATG.
You got it. Yo, he is. But that's like me saying that Pernell Whitaker was an all-time great. And then you put him in there with Felix Trinidad. How did that look?
That nigga was smoking crack by that time. That's not fair.
There's a ceiling. Yo,
because
Bro,
at that same weight,
funny.
class, we saw what he did against Oscar at that weight
there's
class.
weight classes. Remember they were calling for
Oscar at
Ward versus
147,
Usyk?
bro.
You remember that? Ward's an all-time great. They was calling for Ward versus Usyk? What?
You mean Golovkin?
No, they were calling for Ward versus Usyk, bro.
Oh, Ward. Oh, but wasn't it because I think Ward opened up that conversation by saying he was willing to go to heavyweight to fight Anthony Joshua? Remember he opened up that conversation.
He said it went through his mind, but bro,
I would have favored him against Joshua with Joshua's lack of win.
Oh, stop that!
Fuck out of here, man! It takes one punch. That's different.
Man,
that's different, bro. Come on.
What I know about Joshua, the cowardly lion, whatever
like
he is now.
Oh, see, here we go. Don't get him started.
YSM, part 2 of what I don't like of boxing. That's the under racism is nationalism. A lot of people don't like Anthony Joshua because he's British, my nigga.
Man, I know, I can see Anthony Joshua and see that Anthony Joshua lack a few things mentally that's gonna always ail him, which is why he went to this Texas gym so he can build up his courage and his resilience.
He wouldn't walk through the fire he did against Vladimir Klitschko if he was this person he said he was, dog.
Ooh, a fucking old guy who on his way out the door. Get out of here.
What did it have to do with going through fire? What did it have to do with fucking going through fire?
The same Vladimir Klitschko that was willing to rematch Tyson Fury immediately after the first fight.
Yes. The same Vladimir Klitschko that Shelly Finkel said. Let me not get into that.
If Vladimir Klitschko was a little younger, he could have had enough to continue going. And we know if that fight would have kept going, Joshua had no more left in the tank. Joshua blew his last little bit of wad, and then they stopped the fight. I mean, he was hurt now, but I'm just saying if he was able to recover.
You just don't like the nigga from he's British. That's all it is, though.
No, I don't care. Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight to me. Tyson Fury is a wonderful heavyweight and deserves all of the accolades he gets. He's British.
No, it's not that he doesn't like Anthony Joshua because he's British. It's because he doesn't like Anthony Joshua because I keep telling him that Anthony Joshua is going to beat Deontay Wilder. But that's a whole other story.
No one believes that. No one believes that.
I've been saying this shit since the fight been talked about. The fight's gonna end with Wilder getting knocked out mid-windmill by a pinpoint accurate. Mid-windmill, nigga.
Anthony Joshua might lose against whatever this dude name. What's the dude?
White? Oh hell no.
Anthony Joshua may lose against Dylan White.
Dylan White, if Anthony Joshua, like Dylan White, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Joshua has been, the last performance from Joshua kind of made me like, But if Joshua loses to Dillian White, this version of Dillian White, not the Dillian White from 5 years ago, this version of Dillian White, I'm never gonna talk about Joshua ever again. He'll be worse than Frank Bruno to me.
I hope he don't lose, but
thinks that Joshua could beat Wilder should be drug tested.
I'm trying to tell you.
Yo,
listen,
what was that? YSM?
You nigga, I'm talking to you.
Okay, hey, well,
weed is legal in DC.
Next time I go up to Philly, you better have them tests ready. Damn
it, bro. I've been saying this to you for like 4 or 5 years. He's going to knock him out.
JR, I never collected my bet from MVO, my steak dinner bet. I keep I still ain't collect that shit.
Why is him ain't collected on that steak dinner?
Oh, he owe you a grub too. He owe you a steak too.
Yeah, but it's not. He's not ducking it. It's just I just be too busy. You feel me? He ain't ducking on that. I just be too busy. And then the pandemic happened and all that shit. I just be too busy.
I steak, bro.
Yeah. I bet him that Tyson Fury was gonna stop Anthony that Wilder in the second fight, and people looked at me like I hated niggas. You sure niggas looked like I had a white sheet on, nigga. I'm like, bro, it's boxing, man. Like,
yo, as well, yo.
Yo,
Man, it's getting at 1:30 in the morning over here, man. This is
Okay,
a big
predict. Well, before everybody leaves,
yo.
Jr. Who you got? You got Spence, right? You got Spence by
Yeah,
stoppage, right?
Spence by
YSM, who you got?
I ain't got a pick yet.
Okay, Boxing Academic, you from Texas. I don't need to ask you.
No, I'm
So,
not from Texas. I'm from I live in Atlanta. I'm from Birmingham.
all that country shit's the same. All that below the Dixie sign, all
The
that shit.
only way Terrence Crawford win is very likely by a knockout. Otherwise, it's Spence all day. Activity.
At first, I was going by Bud by close decision, but I changed my mind, and now I'm taking Bud by late stoppage.
All right, we're gonna see come Saturday, and yes, folks, I'm still hurt that I ain't going to Vegas this weekend, but
Man,
it is what it is, man.
Oh, hold on. Okay, wait. One last question, because why some here, I need to hear another. I need to hear another opinion because I cannot accept what JR is telling me.
YSM is gone though.
Yeah,
Fuck.
he left.
Yeah, I wanted to know. Damn, I wanted to see his prediction for the pay-per-view, man. I need to see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that 375, 350 shit you talking, I'll commit suicide, bro. I swear to God, bro. I commit
Well,
suicide.
but looking at what we've seen out in the joints for the Vegas, so these past couple of days, there's a whole lot of interest for this joint.
Yeah, nigga, like I said, and then me and War Week Radio got a $50 bet that if it does under 850,000, I owe him 50. So,
well, if Joe kind of goes off of what he's seen these past couple of days, he might be pretty positive on that. So we'll see, man. But yeah, this is the end of the midweek report here. Almost 3 hours, man.
damn.
It's a very poor midweek report. But it goes to the conversation, man. Having Uso, Boxing Academic, Terrell, and YSM on here for the conversation. And thanks to everyone that was listening live on here. If you like the content, just hit the like button to support us. That would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, man, I'm out. I'm going to bed.